Life family. Welcome back to Know the Ledge Media. You are now rocking with the best. This is your host, Brother Blue Pill. All right. And I will be joined momentarily by our guest for this evening, Brother Ken Brisbon. All right. So pardon me. I just finished running like half a mile to get here and get this scheduled program on course. So I'm at a little loss of voice. All right. But we here. We in the building. Peace to you and yours. Welcome back to another episode. Know the Ledge Radio or Know the Ledge TV by way of Know the Ledge Media. Tough Talk Tuesdays. All right. We are back in the building, y'all. You know what time it is. It's going to be another explosive episode. I'm going to give y'all a moment to filter in. Put a post up real quick on IG and let the family know that we are broadcasting. And send his brother a text to let him know that the link is available. All right. So peace, y'all. How y'all been? I hope all is well with everybody. And I hope that you can hear me well. Let me know in the chat if this audio is coming through good. Please. Yeah. Let me know if the audio is doing what it got to do, doing what it's supposed to do. All right, audio is great. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. All right. Let me just get a real quick sip just to modulate taste buds. Today, I was out and about in Atlanta, and I ran into this vendor. I was hollering at the family from We Buy Black. We were in Greenbrier Mall, and interestingly enough, I had just had a consultation meeting with two young brothers in Atlanta that have a tea company. And they were, getting my advice. And I was just telling them some key things to branding. And about an hour or two outside of that, I ran into a business, a businessman who has his own tea brand, right here in the city of Atlanta. And this is wonderfully packaged. You know what I'm saying? It's beautifully packaged. Right? Beautiful. Right? On par with the best of them. Tonight's episode, of course, is being sponsored by soulgoldbiz.com. SOLEGOLDBIZ.com. Thank you for everybody who has been patient. I caught up with all my orders, and now I can get back to production. I have a new product coming out. I have a few new products coming out. So my mind is a little bit more clear now. I was going crazy, keeping up or catching up, should I say, with some outstanding orders that unfortunately I fell back on because I was out of the proximity of my product when I was out west doing some investigative work, not only for me, but for other aspiring brands and businesses, that want to enter the health and wellness market. So this has been a very exciting cycle since we last did our broadcast. So many things have happened in the news cycle. Things have happened in my personal life. You know what I'm saying? So, always growing, always utilizing these opportunities to see how this information is going to show up in my life, because, this is, to me, it's like the testament. It's the living word. You know, yes, it's monatomic gold. All right. Yes, indeed. Pour that big ass glass of ice water. You know, I got the sea mosses right here. They thawing out though. You know what I mean? I made moss for the weekend. I did a vending out here in Atlanta with my pop-up shop. You know, I'm Chef Pablo on the weekends when I get busy in the kitchen. So we sold out the kale. We did the Polish pumpkin pie. We had the sea moss popping. Shout out to Soul Messiah, Rock, Athletics, the assistant Elijah that has the venue. This called Wada Atl 878 Ralph David Abernathy in the west end of Atlanta. She opened up the doors and let me do the thing. Shout out to the other vendors. Shout out to everybody on social media who showed up. You know, they said that we showed up on the strength of the post. You know, I put that thing up on IG, utilizing these social platforms for what they're good for, which is promotions and advertisement and letting people know pretty much what you bring in the market and where they can find you, you know, i.e. the marketplace. So all of those things congruently work together and people were swooping in. And then they were going to social media and telling people how good it was. And then people from their timeline were showing up, you know. So even though I showed up somewhat late, you know what I'm saying, to the venue, every day that I showed up, I ended up selling out because I was Gucci. I was Poochie, you know, I was Geechee. The people had showed up off of that social media feed. That social media feed is a strong thing. I want to acknowledge it. You know what I'm saying? I want to show it my gratitude. I want to show the people my gratitude and say thank you. But I'm not going to be long-winded. You know, I'm actually going to take a moment and catch some more of my wind. Even though I've been practicing this run for the last weekend, you know, upon waking up, just to create a sweat, you know what I mean? So I could get the remaining of the congestion out. You know, I might drink some water, but I hit the door and I go running for like a mile, sprinting, you know what I'm saying? Until I'm out of breath and I'm, you know, sweating. And then I come back in and I get my day started. So that's been my jump start method. So I was able to, you know, do the digital dash to the store just now. I had to buy new headphones. I did that in like 6 or 7 minutes back and forth, you know? So with no further ado, family, I'm not gonna bore you with my stories of resiliency and what it took to get here. We're here. That's the most important thing, right? Um, and I'm eager to get tonight's program underway. I've been heavily anticipating this all week. You dig what I'm saying? So with no further ado, I want to present to you tonight's guest. All right, my brother, your brother, Ken Brisbon. Peace, Lordy.
Yo, what's up, fam? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Peace,
How
love,
are
and
you?
light.
What's
I'm,
going on,
I'm,
bro?
I'm amazing. I feel invigorated. Like I said, I just came back from doing a sprint, you know what I'm saying, to the store. So I got, you know, my pores are open,
Mm-hmm.
circulation is popping.
Bro, you feel
You know what
great.
I'm saying? That blood is rushing to the brain. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I know that we're gonna have a dynamic dialogue this evening.
Most definitely.
You feel me?
Most def.
You know, my jog and sprint game is 100 times better than Lupita's husband. So yeah, I'm feeling good about myself, man. Feeling
Okay,
good about myself.
that's what this conversation is about tonight.
Oh, absolutely.
We want people to feel, we
That's a
want
dope
people to feel,
segue.
and I'm interested the day after tomorrow. So after this conversation and people go out into the world, if there's just a way you could get back and just tell me how your Thursday went. So that'll be Thursday. So if you take the info tonight and you apply it tomorrow, and I want
Yeah.
to know how
You
your
in Africa?
who me?
Yeah.
Oh, am I Africa?
Yeah. It's Tuesday
No.
night.
What's it's Tuesday right now?
It's two,
Uh,
yeah, because Billionaire told me that in Africa they a day ahead. I'm like, damn, they gotta
oh,
wait. That's mad disrespectful. They gotta wait for America to catch up, and they technically
wow, how about that?
feel like they behind, and they a whole day ahead of us.
Okay, well that's great. So we got folks in Africa. So I want to know what they day-to-day look like after this conversation too. And hopefully we can make it hella surgical so you can go out and get a win. And that's what this is all about. You getting a
Absolutely.
win. If you don't get no win, then this is pointless. So Blue,
Absolutely.
wherever you want to start, bro, we could just flow, bro.
Um, just tell us a little something about, you know what I mean? I don't want it to be so mechanical. You feel me? People have been making a lot of inquiries about, like, yo, I appreciate, the brother Ken.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They not even that thrown off by the fact that they haven't gotten a chance to see you, because it forces them to tune in.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
But I think that you're a part of people's weeknight evening. So
Oh, okay, that's what's up.
yeah, yeah. How was your weekend, bro? You know what I'm
My
saying? How's your
uh,
personal space?
my personal space is great, bro. You know what I mean? I really, really don't have complaints about life. You know what I'm saying? Everything that I don't have is extra. You know what I'm saying? It's just, you know, on the bucket list. It's on the vision board. But in terms of quality of life, yo, I'm thankful. It's mad gratitude, because I've been in
Right,
mad different spaces. So to be here where I'm at and still going, and I got a clear head on my shoulders, and there's actually nothing stopping me from attaining the things that I want to attain. Nothing. There's nothing stopping that shit, but my decision making. So the fact that just put like this, I got good problems. You know what I'm saying? Like one of my problems is what's my next move? That's what I
right.
be thinking about all day, pacing back and forth in the car, riding, really contemplating what's my next thought. And I'm aware that it's so many people in the world that can't even get to that. They can't even get to think about what's their next thought because they not their next thought, but their next move. They can't even get to what their next move is because they are dealing with life. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a amazing blessing to be in a space where the only shit going on in your life is contemplating your next move.
Mm-hmm.
So that is what I consider, and that's the topic tonight: grace and favor.
Grace and favor.
Grace and favor to be in a position to where everything else around you is gravy. Of course it could be better, of course, because they tell us the universe is abundant, right? So there's no such thing as enough, right? So to be in a space where you can focus on your next move, whether that's through a vision board or whether that's through, your notebook, your planner in your phone, to be on that means you on the level. Because all you got to do is ride the city bus. All you got to do is get on the train. All you got to do is move out in the world, and you'll see that people are not even there in that space to focus on their next move. They are caught up
Oh,
in a
that's a
lot of
fact.
things that don't give a return on investment. You feel me?
That's a super fact.
So if you are a person right now that is in a favorable position, because it is favorable, because grace and favor is not for everybody. So if you are in a favorable position to actually get the chance to focus on your next move, you are blessed and you are operating in grace and favor. So to that I say, hello, how you doing?
Indeed. Indeed, indeed. So, I should be asking you, is there any preferable place that you want to start from per se?
Well, yeah, you know what I'm saying. Let's talk about grace and favor for a second. Like what is it? What is grace and favor? And today when I was thinking about it, I'm like, it's a frequency, it's an energy, it's a force. You know what I'm saying? It's a mindset. It's a flow. And blue is something that everybody doesn't have. You
I
know,
was about to say, even though it's something that everybody doesn't have, is it something accessible by everybody?
Sure. You have to do particular things though, because it comes about by movement. From my observation, uh, people that have operated in grace and favor were making moves. They were reaching very, very big. They were dreaming big, or should I say, they were dreaming big. And because they were dreaming so big, I think it was producing an energy. Something was attracted to them because they had so much movement, you know. And I only think grace and favor comes to those that move, because water seems to become unnatural, or it seems to change its makeup when it doesn't flow anymore, when it has no more movement. It's like a swampland, right? But when I see water flow, it looks like it stays fresh. It looks like it stays pure, you know? So I think grace and favor works the same way. I think when you're moving and you're making moves in life, but not just moves, boo, not just moves. I think when you are thinking the biggest thought, I think when you are reaching further than your mother and father, I think when you are transcending culture, I think grace and favor find you.
Find you.
Yes.
Can I ask you a question that might rattle some people, but I'm sure because you're a thinker that you
Hmm.
could think your way through this question.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yes.
Do you think the president of the United States
Has grace and favor?
has grace and favor?
Totally. Totally. Yeah. Look, okay. So, um, the
Talk about it.
etymology of the word favor, right? The words associated with the etymology of the word favor is attractiveness, charm,
Mhm.
beauty, inclination, right? Support, worship. Those are some interesting words, bro.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Some words associated with the etymology of the word grace is mercy, favor, virtue. Now, it doesn't personally matter what what I think about this person. It's kind of what they think about themselves.
Facts.
And one thing I know about this man is when you watch the American Dream documentary on Netflix, when you read some of his literature, when you just study his moves. I've since I've been alive, he's been in that position. And one thing that I know for sure that he practices is the art of positive thinking. And no matter what situation the man is in, he has the same temperament, and he believes that he is going to win. Now,
At
I
all
think
times.
at all times, and I think sometimes we get caught up in personality of do we like a person or dislike a person, that we miss key elements about their character and their human design. So when you're looking at somebody like this guy, let's keep it real. The left has been on his helmet since he got in office. He has
Allegedly. Right.
allegedly, right? He has lost his appeal with the urban market, which is very interesting because rappers used to love him,
To love
right?
him. Right. He
So
was he had enough grace and favor
yeah,
initially through the 80s and the 90s to be the most mentioned person in hip hop.
hip hop for sure. That's true. You heard Young Jock, boys in the hood call me Black Donald Trump. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yes.
Trump, hip hop like Trump. Okay, so whatever,
They loved
you,
Trump.
you know,
He was the
but
measure by which, what I'm saying, that they well, he was the ruler by which they measured themselves.
yeah,
He was
totally.
synonymous with success. He was synonymous with wealth. He was synonymous with the lifestyle that many people were willing, right? He was the reward for the risk, if you will.
Well, let's spin it another way, Blue. Donald Trump is from New York as well. He's the corporate side of hip hop. That's what hip hop sounds like in a
In the boardroom.
asshole white man from New
Right.
York's mouth. That's the key component here, the fact that he's a New Yorker. So that's why he sounds like that, right? So I think because of the media per se, that I think people miss key elements of what makes someone successful. So they talk about their personal feelings, and I'm not talking about my personal feelings for the person. Just by observation, it looks like this person is operating in grace and favor, because that's a hell of a long time to be on that run right there. It doesn't matter, $1 billion in debt. The man said, "I'm the king of debt." I felt that shit. I was like, damn, that means he could take a negative and turn it into some money.
Right.
I'm I don't care who you are, you can duplicate that. If you could take a negative situation and not just turn your life around, no, 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 no. You go a step further and you turn negative situations into economics. Now, is that alchemy or not? Is that turning a base metal into gold? Is that would we give credit and say that's philosopher stone swag, or because we don't like the person? No.
Yes,
But I,
indeed. I think that people are missing a genuine, once in a lifetime lesson. If you can remove yourself from the emotions, you know what I'm saying? What you're bearing witness to is something that you have one never seen and probably will never see again. You feel me? And like all things in life, there's a lesson to be learned. If there wasn't, it wouldn't be so. It wouldn't be in your face so much. It
Mhm,
wouldn't be pressing on your consciousness every single day. There's something for you to walk away with that can actually make you a better person. Because if not, you should turn off the TV and dig a hole and go somewhere. Why would you be participating willingly in something that is at your detriment daily?
mhm, mhm.
Right? So I I,
so, so,
I will
so to answer
concur
your
that
question,
yes,
yeah.
with the uber optimistic outlook that one has, right? When they say the universe is always conspiring for my success.
Mhm,
You know what I mean? Then I would have to also, as an alchemist, feel that every time that I came across visuals of this particular person, that there was a lesson to be learned. And I don't
mhm,
get in my feelings and I'm not emotional. You feel me?
mhm,
Even though I told you niggas that there was no indictments coming. You know, that's just
mhm,
my I told you so moment because
mhm,
I'm reading this shit from afar and I know what I'm looking at, right? It's not
mhm,
a belief. This is a gnosis at this point, right? Because I'm running a law that does not, it never lets me down.
mhm,
So, tonight we want to speak about that. We want to speak about the differentiations between belief and knowledge. And is belief good enough? You know what I'm saying? Because belief gets a beating um, because people normally think of it as a liturgical term, right? Which means they think that it's automatically tied into something biblical. It denotes religion immediately when you hear it. So
mhm,
people that are dismissive of religion, they have thrown away faith and belief. And according to Napoleon Hill, right, who is by proxy, in our lifetime, what I'm saying, on the planet, maybe the foremost expert when it comes to speaking about the necessary elements for success. Okay. Because we don't have a any interviews with Mansa Musa, you know, we don't have any interviews ascribed from anybody on the Silk Road that was, moving tons of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So he went and he got the interviews with quote unquote American tycoon industrialists and what have you, tycoons and industrialists and presidents and sitting this and sitting that. And he compiled it into a book called Think and Grow Rich. And that's what a lot of people cite, right, as the inspiration for them to say, yo, when I get my business together and on the road to success and this, that, and the other, you feel me?
mhm,
That's who they cite. And they're never dismissive of the fact that he's European. They're never dismissive of the fact that he utilizes these twin pillars as the base foundational principles of success.
mhm,
You know what I'm saying?
mhm,
So I wanted to have this discussion so we can go over some of those things because I don't know how the family feels about it. I don't know if in their consciousness if that's a speed bump that they go around or they go over it. You know what I'm saying? And if they do go over it, how do you get over it and still maintain your sanity as somebody that's quote unquote conscious but doesn't deal with religion?
mhm. Well, I think people need to know what something looks like, right? You know, I think, and then sometimes we may get too intellectual. Let me tell you what I mean by that. So someone will say, you know what, be, lie, and Eve. You know, they'll break the word down, and
Right.
I'm like, yeah, true. But at the same time, sometimes when words are connected to your imagination, I think the intent of the word you use ends up taking over what it actually means. I think that's possible based on the power of language and how serious a person is. But I think people have to know what stuff looks like. I think the main problem is when you're coming from the environments that we come from. Your intro to a lot of things is blurred. It's kind of fucked up, right? So you don't really know how things look because the intro is always messy when you come from where we've come from. So anything that's introduced is always going to kind of be a side eye. So when we're using words like faith and we're using words like belief, those things are synonymous what with our religious experience, right? And a lot of times that was from a poverty POV. So we don't have a point of reference of what faith and belief and grace and favor look like when we're having it our way. Because if we did, that would be the language that we would use, right?
Indeed.
Right. So if people if people got wins and those wins was attached to mantras or affirmations or language that they were using, wouldn't they continue to talk like that? Wouldn't they continue to do that same behavior? So at on the flip side, if people's losses are associated with faith and belief, I would expect them to have a toxic relationship with the words, right?
Hmm.
So I think that's what it is. I think that's the issue right there of people never seeing what wins look like and what language and how those wins was associated with the language that's being used. You know what I'm saying? So I think if we get a good map on what a win looks like, you know what I'm saying, create aha moments, and then like, okay, a win looks like this. This is what grace and favor looks like. Now we got something. We got a point of reference, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So, I mean, do you have a definition for both of them terms, grace and favor?
Well, I gave you the etymology. So the favor is attractiveness, beauty, charm, approval, praise, applause, goodwill, inclination, partiality, support, to show kindness to honor, revere, worship. Grace is to thank, give thanks, praise, mercy, favor, virtue, to lend or add, give give something. So grace can be lended, right? Grace can be a grace can be given and grace can be lost, right?
Right.
So uh if you yeah, let me go into it a little bit, bro. So grace and favor. So when it comes to people of our culture, bro, people of our culture are born without grace and favor. Because the people that gave birth to them had no covering. You know what I'm saying? So there's no light to navigate through the dark world, right? The community has failed the people. The schools have failed the people. Your mates have failed you. Your books, all your lectures, and the memes have failed because it hasn't provided grace and favor. All these things are in place, and the quality of life of the people is not in a good spot. And I think we could all agree to that, right? You have a small minority of people living it up, doing it big, and they have all the Instagram followers. But for the most part, people of melanated people ain't living like that. You know what I'm saying? And there's a reason for that. And the numbers and the statistics show. So Blue, a little later, some of those numbers that you could bring up, and we can go over those numbers on why does it look like that in America over and over again. That would have to tell me that grace and favor, the covering is not over, or is not over the people, right? And I believe that the things you give your energy to remove or
Mm-hmm.
deny grace and favor, then people are being molested unknowingly, right? So grace and favor has a lot to do with hardware, software. All right. So hardware is the human body. You know what I'm saying? The human body is pre-coded to always pick itself. It's not designed to undermine its nature, to undermine its self-preservation. Okay. It's governed by biology, but the way the biology of the human body is set up on birth is programmed to basically kind of get a win for real. And a win is food, shelter, clothing, mating, anything that is those biological urges are kind of wins, right? When
Yes.
you don't have no grace and favor, you go against your self-preservation. You go against yourself. And a lot of it starts with belief. Okay. A lot of it is thought. The thoughts that we think are, I believe, the primary reason why millions of people, maybe even billions, are lacking grace and favor, because you have the hardware, which is the human body, and then you have the software. Now, I call software apps. Okay. So if you look at software, belief systems like software, okay, and each time you download an app on your phone, right, Blue, doesn't the app begin to kind of take over your phone? it,
Mm-hmm.
it Apps can make your phone act differently because that software downloaded on the hardware, right? have,
Facts.
have you ever downloaded an app and it had a virus in it?
I have, yes.
All right, so it'll throw your whole phone off, and in some instances you may even need to get a new phone. Is that
Phone
true?
started acting wacky.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
So
Should
belief
take over your phone to do updates.
it might, exactly. So belief systems operate the same way. Belief systems are like apps. When you download them on your hardware, it begins to change your nature. You know what I'm saying? It begins the same way that an app changes the hardware of the phone. Belief system changes the hardware of the human body. Okay. So this is where I believe that millions of people that look like you and I are lacking grace and favor because of the belief systems, because of the things that, we repeat, because of our outlook. And I think that those thoughts and ideals, bro, are so toxic and so polluted and so detrimental to the psyche that it produces a generation of people that will never ever have good luck. Never, ever. We're talking about generational Section 8. Now, some people could say, yo, well, that's the system. But if you stand back and watch the people behave, they're undermining themselves. So, what that tells me is the thing that is making them behave like that is inside of them, not outside of them. It's inside of them. So, what is it that's making them move like that? What is it that's making them eat that? What is it that's making them have that approach to life? What's affecting these people is inside of them. So is it in the DNA? Is it in the thought? Well, Bruce Lipton tells us that thought affects DNA. So is it possible? Is it possible that you can fix all these ills in so-called Black America, Brown America? Is it possible that if there was a way that you can shock the people, like some type of a electric shock, that would kind of give them amnesia and then wake them up again, you can
Mm-hmm.
actually, grown men and women, you can actually put grace and favor in them because you reset the memory.
Mm.
Because I believe all this is from thought, boo. The, people could say the system, but I think the system works in your favor because it gives you an opportunity to be the best version of yourself. And the fact that most people can't, that should tell you what being saved is. The fact that you can adjust to it and maneuver and you can pivot, that says a lot about you. And that says a lot about your personal human journey, right? But I believe this grace and favor, this black cloud, or these so-called generational curses, the curse is the thinking. What do you
You
think?
said the curse is the what?
The thinking,
Oh, the
the
thinking.
the thinking is the curse.
Well, yeah, like you said, if you download malware, you know what I'm saying, and it starts disrupting the frequency of the hardware, okay, then the electrical circuitry is going to be affected, and ultimately in the human body, that's where it ties into the mind, you know what I'm saying, which is not localized to the body, but the connection comes through the electrical circuitry. You dig what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
yeah, if that download is diseased, if that download is corrupted, it's ultimately going to start the corruption in the mind, you know what I'm saying? And we always repeat the fact that mind is man and mind is all, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? So then now it becomes like an egregor over the entity, and it starts spreading because it's going to corrupt other minds that are connected to that neural network,
Mhm.
right? So then you have niggardry, which is a program that, you know what I'm saying, the shit works like 100 monkey. You know what I'm saying? Like they picking up on the shit wherever they at, continental wise, just by, just by seeing somebody that they might think might look like them, or they just get in the down low period because as an egregor, it's just in the air, it's in the atmosphere, it's part of the grid.
Is that powerful?
Hmm?
Is that powerful that on one site it can have an effect on me?
Well, I mean, they do say that we are all one and we're connected. So if that thing becomes corrupted and unchallenged, right? I liken it to the fact that, you know, we all have a fortified system, you know, in our anatomy, whereas white blood cells, ironically enough, right, are produced to battle invaders into the body, you know what I'm saying? Foreign objects, things that don't belong there. But when your firewall is down, when your immune system is no longer working, then your system is going to become overridden. You know what I'm saying? Like the sentinels in the matrix.
Hmm.
So yeah, you know, if that thing is more powerful, then that which hopes to counter it is going to overrun it. Take for instance the removal of what would be normally looked at as the alpha male figure in black society. Let's take late 60s, early 70s,
Hmm.
right? The revolutionary.
Hmm.
He was surpassed and supplanted by the pimp and the hustler. That imagery was never challenged to a degree, or never challenged successfully. And that program overrode the previous program, right? And now it's the default program by proxy.
Hmm.
So yes, I think that if the system becomes infected, you know what I'm saying, it could corrupt the entire program.
Hmm. Okay, so I'll juxtapose and say if it's if that frequency is that strong, so shouldn't light be able to do the same exact thing on contact? And light, I mean
Um,
knowledge.
Theoretically, yes.
Okay, so why is the light not penetrating like the dark? How come the dark can have that kind of, it's like a crackhead? How is it that powerful? What is inside of it? Like if we look at words or ideals as having shapes and colors, what shape and color could these phrases, these terms, this language, these ideals, if it's a download, it's actually something. It has weight to it. It's something. It just doesn't go in our minds. It crystallizes. So what does it actually look like if we look at it through some type of radar glasses? Because for it to have that much power over light, then then is the light enough? Is knowledge enough? So you need something else, huh?
I mean, that's a very good question. I got to sit down with that for a second.
You know, because it just seems like that this other frequency travels fast. Not only does it travel fast, it seems like it is the default that people go to. Like it seems as though if you stand back and watch a human being, the primal self always kind of goes to a space of what we consider anti-grace and favor. It starts like if it unchallenged. So
Well, one of the interesting things about humanity, right? And especially humanity that marries itself to a story timeline. So, take for instance, the melanated man says, as the original man, they have no known birth record, right? There's a gift and a curse to that statement. Okay. So, you have been here for so long, right? And as representatives of the Most High, your assignment here is to experience all things, you know what I'm
mhm,
saying, and all versions of them. If you have been in paradise the majority of your life and only known, intimate conflict with people in your direct surroundings or what have you, you know what I'm saying? You done brought some smoke to some people in some other places, but you never really got into your lowest character, right? Because there was all of these precepts and, you know what I'm saying? It was different moral compasses being set. There was eldership, there was this and there was that. But evidence of your lower selves exists outside of you in the form of this recessive person who you say you created, right? From an alchemical process of extracting the lowest denominator of yourself, right? And then replicating that until you thinned out the morality that supposedly exists in your melanin until there was none left in
mhm,
this being who had no moral fiber, pun intended, right?
mhm.
So theoretically, you have the propensity to go into that place, but you've never technically went there because of all of the precepts and the parameters that were set amongst you, where you never were able to get into that lowest denominating place of yours. Have you ever been to prison?
I have.
Okay. Behind the wall, you see the most primal primate aspects of man when the parameters are taken away from him and he's allowed to fall into that place. You dig what I'm saying?
Mhm,
So, can it just be possible for the first time in the trajectory of our historical timeline, right? Who some of the griots and the elders say has no beginning and no end, right? That the entropic forces have now set in, right? For this old man who is now experiencing the reverse of his glory or his facing in his grace and favor.
Well, okay.
Because
Hmm.
according to the trajectory, you know what I'm saying, of how things exist, and then, you know what I'm saying, slow down to restart or what have you, that this is something that has to happen. Entropy has to set in at some point.
Mhm,
You have to know your darkness. And science at this particular time is immersed in studying darkness, right? And they don't have no answers. And
mhm,
it's the same way that the melanin man cannot explain what is taking place with darkness and his relationship to that as a representative of it.
mhm.
So, I mean, when I sit back and I look at, the fact that they say that we are approaching a part of this universe where now we are exposed to a different degree of dark matter and its chaos, it has to express itself somehow.
But it can express itself in productivity, though. It can express itself in control chaos. It's necessary because also behind the wall, also in jail, is some of the most beautiful people you're ever going to meet, and
Yes.
who have went through their own alchemical process, coming in savage and leaving different. You know,
Right. Becoming noble savages.
man, developing routine, right? To center self, right? So yes, the chaos must express itself, but at the same, and it's supposed to, because obviously, according to Western Western ideals are universe was created with a bang, according to the West, right?
According
And
to the West, yes.
created through chaos. Okay, when a woman gives birth, she goes through pain. That's chaos. We
Mm-hmm.
produce life through chaos. But the thing about it is again, the software that has been downloaded. And it's not just individual software, it's cultural software because we have a cultural mind, okay? And a African American from Tampa and an African American from Oakland, even though they're different, we're kind of expected them to think the same though, and know the same shit, and know the same slang.
Yo, word of my mother. I had an experience today that I want to share with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
I went to a barber shop in the hood, right here in Atlanta, and the barber was inside of a shop where they did African hair braiding and on one side, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I get in the chair, he cutting my hair, and he asked me so they can hear him asking me, he's like, yo, would you ever think in a million years that you would meet melanated people who don't know who Harriet Tubman is? I said,
Mm-hmm.
what? That's what you're talking about. He said, yo, while I was bringing up Harriet Tubman to the sisters yesterday, and they didn't know nothing about her. I had to give them an entire education. Now he's saying it in his country swing, right? Because he live in the A, but he's from Florida. He's from deep down in the country. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So he's saying it, and I gotta struggle to understand what he's saying. And they looking at him like, you know, they letting him tell his story, but they just looking at him, and I'm sure that it's something that they wanted to add on it, but they didn't at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So he's building, trying to, I guess, get them to interject, and he's asking me questions that he should be asking them.
Mm-hmm.
But he's asking me, I guess, because he wants them to answer the questions, or for me to lend, you know what I'm saying, my observations or ideas about it to get them to trigger them to say something.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But I'm like, yo, that's we have an assumption or presumption that just because once again we share this this melanin per se, that we have a shared experience or a shared history, and that's not necessarily the case. Now they had a picture on the wall of Sheikh Amadou Bamba. You know what I'm saying? So I started dialoguing with them. I'm like, oh, y'all from Senegal? Yeah. Y'all from Tuba? Yeah. That's Sheikh Amadou Bamba. Yeah. Now they interested.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So because I crossed the barrier and he's sitting back like, nah, keep on, keep going. You know what I mean? Because he never seen none of his clients come in there and break the barrier and have a conversation with them. So I knew something about someone who they hold in a high regard. I knew their history. I was able to look at them and tell where they're from, right? And now we're able to have a dialogue. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm asking them questions and they're answering me without, they'll answer you and not even look at you. They're very disrespectful, you know.
A collective mind is dangerous because that's how grace and favor is removed through the collective mind of everybody kind of tapping in to this one app, okay? And we watch the movie The Matrix, but we really don't process what that means in our reality and how everything is a production and everything is manufactured. Our past and what we think is a production. Blue, literally, you and I are watching or are viewing the world the same way, three-dimensional, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And you only know what's in your box, all right? Whether that's your phone, whether that's your piece of paper, the newspaper, the television, your mama, the church, everywhere
That
you go, you in a box. You
everywhere.
don't know outside your box. So They create history. They create it in the future. If you don't believe me, look at all new job apps now. All they have North African in there, and North African is considered European. When I was a
Yes.
teenager filling out an application at Walmart, that classification was not there.
Facts.
Okay. So what they did was they created a past. Okay. They were not there. They put that in on the job application. All you got to do is look at 20 years earlier. Okay. So when they make movies like, and I'll tell you where I'm going with this. So when they make movies like Achilles, when they make movies like Noah, Exodus, movies create the future. Movies create the narrative. Okay. So you can create things that was not there by creating it in the future. Let me tell you what I mean by that. The majority of people don't own a book from the 1800s or 1700s. So they can't really tell you about slavery. Do you know how they know about slavery, Blue? The majority, not everybody, but the majority from movies.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So a production taught you this is how it looked, right? A production. Okay. And the famous one is Roots. All right.
Yes.
So yeah, we have pictures and we have illustrations, we have stills. Okay. But a lot of our narrative that what we think about ourselves and think about the world is from television.
For movies, right?
It's from media. Right
Moving
now, if you
pictures,
get it,
right?
if we get into the
Still
science of
pictures and moving pictures. Yes.
still pictures of movies, but it all comes from media. And when we get into the science of who are the Medes, who are magicians, and media was
Yeah.
the
What is Medea?
Medea, right? They're magicians. Okay,
Magicians, right?
so the reason why people lack grace and favor, Blue, is because of the production. So when you can comprehend, you start to take on these ideals about so-called blackness and the world, and you see yourself as a victim without even knowing it. Oh, the world is trying to attack me. How do you know all the shit about blackness that you know? From television. From television. The reason why I know this, Blue, is because when I got out into the world, none of that shit happened.
Mm.
None of it. All the stuff they said was gonna happen to me, none of it happened. And I'm
Never
like, why are
happened.
people why
They
are
never
people being
found you.
so man, why are people being so nice to me? See, I can't speak for everybody's experience. I'm only talking about me, right? I'm a
Hmm.
stocky dude. I'm not a little dude. You know what I'm saying? How come everywhere I go, people are offering me stuff? They want to help me. I'm never completely in distress because I believe the creator works through people. And I
Facts.
always get what I need. Now, why do I get what I need? Now, I didn't always get what I need. What the fuck happened? I changed my cultural download and I kind of remove myself from that shit so I can see it from an objective point of view. And then I really got into the science of me because I thought it said know thyself.
That's what it
This
said.
it didn't say know thy community. It said know thyself.
Right.
It didn't say know thy nationalism. It said know thyself. Now all those things are good, but they're extra if you choose to do that on your hero's journey. That's extra. I don't believe that is the purpose though. The purpose is to know yourself. Anything outside of that, have at it. Have at it. But you got to get that first. So I believe, Blue, the way grace and favor is the reason why it's not working in millions of people's life. It's that cultural download, the cultural ideals about oneself and the world that we live in.
Mm. So what can we do
Mhm.
to reset that
Okay,
download?
well, I wrote some life hacks. All right, so these are Ken Brisbane's life hacks for grace and favor, and they're quick and they're mad easy, and it's not nothing complex because it's a simple thing because it's really dealing with thought. All right, so number one, protect your eyes and your ears. right? Make people earn your attention. Make people earn your attention. Now, people call me everything but a child of God, right? But I make people earn my attention. It doesn't have any effect on me. All the stuff that be going on in the culture, yo, I find out about it mad late, bro. I'm hella late to everything. When everybody's disgruntled, when everybody is depressed and this person is going through it in the media, I find out about it in the barbershop when I can't turn my ear off, right? But by the time I find out about it, it's a late issue. Why? Because you're gonna earn my attention. I protect my eyes and my ears because I'm protecting my grace and favor. I can't hear everything, fam, and I cannot watch everything. Like,
Facts.
we have to have super discipline on what we allow in our eyes and our ears. Everything is not about to get my attention, my G. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I have a filtered social media. Right? I've done basically carved my recommendations. Now the only thing that I see is I do like sports. So I get sports updates, but it's economics, it's science, it's health, it's wellness, it's real estate in other countries. My YouTube knows me. I filter my life. I don't watch no fights. I don't watch no gossip. I don't watch black peopling because I don't need to see that shit, right? So I protect my eyes and my ears. So that's one of my life hacks to keep my grace and favor. And if I believe it can work with someone who doesn't have grace and favor, so they can attain grace and favor. You got that?
Facts. Yes, I do.
Protect your eyes and your ears. That's number one.
Mm-hmm.
Number three, this is gonna hurt many black Americans.
Hold
But
on.
go
You
ahead.
jumped to number. You
Oh, I'm
skipped number
sorry.
two.
Two. Oh, two, two, two. Okay, two. My fault. My fault. Good call.
You just
Good
wanted to
call.
see if I was listening. I get it.
Oh, good call. All right. So number two, a lot of people gonna hurt by this blue because it's going to basically go against the foundation that they're taught. But that's
Right.
fine. I'll be the bad guy now. All right. Number two is embrace the mystery instead of the history.
Okay.
Embrace the mystery instead of the history. The mystery has unlocked genius, and the history has the ceiling. So, what do I mean by the mystery and
Oh.
the history? The mystery is you, the history is the culture. The culture has a ceiling,
Mm.
and you don't create the culture, the matrix does.
Ugh.
The culture belongs to the matrix, whether you like it or not. It is not
Whether you
yours.
like it or not.
You did not come here with it and you will not leave with it, but there is a ceiling. But let me tell you what's great about the mystery. It's never been a you before. You're one of one. All you got to do is look inside of your hands. There's the design in your hands that no human in the world has ever had. Have you ever took
Facts.
time to even peep that and notice that? You are one of one. They say no ideal is original, but that's not all the way true because you're an ideal and your hands are original.
Yeah.
It's never been a you before. So this
I
is why I
keep
say
telling them stop using those them sloganisms. There's nothing new under the sun. Oh,
that's not
really?
true.
Some bullshit.
That's not true. This is you represent a human design that has never been here before.
Right. Never
Okay.
been. It's
So
never been a law of 44.
man,
Hell,
so
it's
some people can say, well, I am my ancestors. And then I would have to ask, are you the ones from the past or are you the ones from the future? Which one? Which one?
right.
And are they the same? And do they coexist? Because I don't think analog ancestors could dance in a digital reality.
Mm.
I don't think ancestors from Pisces have any weight with ancestors in Aquarius. You out
Mm.
of season. Would if I popped up with a Jerry curl right now, niggas would laugh at me. Oh, because I'm
Facts.
out of season. Okay,
You out
then
of season. You out of your
so
timeline.
so tell your ancestors from Pisces you love them. So, but they gotta get the fuck out of here and make room for the Aquarius ancestors. Tell your analog and Ania uncles they got to get out of here so they can make room for your digital ancestors, and your ancestors is gonna serve you in virtual reality. So
Mm.
embrace the mystery instead of the history. That's not important, Blue, because the people have been told, oh, my people, my people, my people. And why would you ever claim people you didn't handpick? You
Mm.
didn't ask for that. You just let the world push people on you that you personally then be like, you know what? We don't even have nothing in common. What's wrong with saying that? Like, you know what? Yo, I don't act like y'all. Why don't I catch up with people that I'm more like with?
Yo, and that was the lesson that, you know, homie got in the barbershop, that he ain't really register it. They like, we don't have a shared history. Y'all is y'all, and we is us.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
And we just happen to be in the same space together, but we don't have a shared history. I don't know what the fuck y'all niggas is talking about with this X, Y, and Z. But y'all want to know about Sheikh Amadou Baba? Yeah, we could tell you all of this mystical, magical African shit that you're not up on because you stuck in Christianity. You know what I mean? And then when homie, he from the South, so he was talking about raising pheasants and eating turtles and snapping chickens' necks and living on a farm, you know, and cat and you know, he got his speed, right? Because he had to chase the chicklings when since the age of 2. They was looking at him mesmerized, like, huh? The fuck is he talking about? Like, he was dumbfounded by that story and how animated he was getting, talking about how country he was. You dig what I'm saying? So there's no shared experience there.
That robs you, bro. That robs you of it. Say so.
But in Tuba, they gotta walk 3 or 4 miles to get water. You know what I mean? And the women carry it back. That would be so foreign to us. We'd be like, y'all do what?
Well, let me say this too, Blue, about the shared experience. What makes it interesting, and the dope thing about America, but it's dope, but anything on steroids is too much. But let me tell you the dope thing about America is when we look at history pre-America, everything is about uh, tradition. Everything is about basically there's a ceiling, okay, and it's very hard for you to stand out because it's all about giving yourself up to the emperor, giving yourself up to the state, right? These is how, at least in the West, these is how a lot of societies was governed. It was dictatorships, totalitarian forms of government. You got me? The thing about
Yes.
America is if you have an ideal, you can do it. Now that phenomenon, according to any research that I've studied in world history, that phenomenon of a man or woman or child having an ideal and to be able to go pursue that ideal. There's and people say, well, that's individualism. But I've never seen a bunk bed casket though. I
You said
never
what?
I never seen a bunk bed casket. I never
A
seen
double-decker casket?
never,
Not even for
never,
twins.
never. When Martin Luther King died, he went in a casket by himself. By himself, man. Malcolm X died and went into a casket by himself. And guess what? Niggas was drinking and smoking the next day. Huh? Now, again, knowledge of self first, then everything else is extra. But my point of saying that was about the collective experience. The collective experience, if you OD on it, it denies you your own personal grace and favor. Because what if you have a collective experience that doesn't have grace and favor in it, and you buy into that? How does that help you? How does that help you? How does that feed you? How does that nurture you? How does that develop you? And then where is everyone at when you in jail? It's just you. There ain't no collective. They be like, homie, hold your head. It ain't no we hold your head.
at all.
Ask a person in solitary confinement. You dolo, bro.
No, I mean, hold on. I told these brothers and sisters, if you're willing to listen, um, you know, the Angola 3, they did 44 years in the box. In the box. In the box. 44 years in solitary confinement for the struggle. And there's still political prisoners in solitary confinement, languishing. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, we haven't done a very good job of taking care of our own in this lifetime. I'm not talking about 100 years ago. They did 44 years. They just came home. Right? So, I mean, you know, there's mad travesties that are spoken of or unspoken of. You have no idea.
Now, look, like I said, when you reach a place of knowledge of self and you know who you are and you know what your purpose is, and if your cup, only if your cup runneth over, if your cup runneth over, and your cup runneth over means that you go outside and you take care of other people's family, you deal with philanthropy, you go on missions around the world feeding and clothing people. That's mad admirable. That's dope. Document that shit.
Mm-hmm.
But if you do that and your cup don't run over and you have not took the time to be selfish for yourself to figure out your own purpose and mission, I believe that is a travesty. I believe that is the highest form of abuse.
Mm.
So that was number two, Blue. Uh, embrace the mystery instead of the history. Now that's not for everybody. It's just for the
Right.
ones that, you know, they feet look. You know how Fred Flintstone used to look in that car. That's how feet. That's how your feet look running through this life. You know what I'm saying? Kicking up dust, right? That's what that message is for. Not everybody though. I'm not
Not
everybody.
everybody. Not everybody
So
gonna get that.
number three of life hacks for grace and favor, Blue. Speak light. Avoid dark language. Speak light. Avoid dark language. Because I was just telling you.
How do you define that?
I have to tell you. I was just talking to you about apps and belief systems. So it works the same way with language. And if we really believe well, you know what? Whether you believe it or not, language, words create worlds.
Yes.
Whether you believe it or not, every day of the week, 365, that your language creates worlds. And I believe that the worlds that we exist in, one of the reasons why we're in those situations is because we use dark language. Now, watch what I'm going to say that I consider dark language and I don't use it. And I consider my life a great life, right? I don't use this word. I did use this word, and my life looked different when I used this word. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, for people that are lacking grace and favor, I do not think it would do you a justice using words like white supremacy because to me that is dark language, and I don't think if nature could talk, it would classify anything other than itself as supreme because I remember they was outside and they read message to the black man and it said that I'm God.
Mm-hmm.
Elijah Muhammad said I was God.
Yes,
He
indeed.
said he was God. Did he say that or not?
He did say that.
Okay. So that means as a God, I have the ability to create and destroy. Is that correct?
Build and destroy.
Right. But I do that with self though, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's where my jihad is correct. That's where
That's
my
what it's at.
rapture is correct, right? Bobby
Yes.
Hemmett taught us that all the stories in mythology was about us. Did he or did he
About
not?
us. He absolutely did.
Did Bobby tell us that?
That's what Bobby said.
Okay, so Bobby told me it was about me. Elijah Muhammad said it was about me. Jesus said, "Have you not read in your law that ye are gods?" That's about me. The Creator in Genesis said, "Behold, the man has become one of us, knowing good and evil." Behold, the man has become one of us. Oh shit! Let us make man in our image
Yeah.
after our likeness. Hold
Psalms
on,
82, verse 6. Ye
man.
are
We are
gods.
we are children of gods.
Yes.
We what? So here's all these references of people telling me that I'm more than what they're telling me, then I would never use dark language to describe something that doesn't fucking exist in the first place. Because Bobby told me it was all about me.
Mm-hmm.
Brother Panic told me it was all about me.
Yes, he did.
So then we can't coexist at the same time because for white supremacy to be what it is, it's at my detriment. And I think the universe and this life is working in my favor. So if the universe is working in my favor, then that doesn't exist. Now, if it
It
exists
can't.
for you people out there, that's your business. Now remember, we don't have the same collective download. That's the difference. I'm not down. I'm not on that Wi-Fi server. So if you're
Yeah.
on that Wi-Fi server, that's what you get. And the only thing people could do is give me hypotheticals. What about if they do this to you? And what about if they do that to you? Then what you gonna do? Well, what about if it don't happen and I'm fucking balling out in 10 years like I plan to be and my life keeps getting better? You know that does happen, right, people? You know there are people in the world that put a goal on a board and they meet that shit, right? You know, there are people that are living out their journals and living out their fantasies, right? People that look like you and I. You know, it's people getting stamps on the passport, right? And you know that was part of the plan, right? You know that, right? You know, grace and favor is real. That's what I'm talking to. Take it or leave it. Take it or leave it. So don't use dark language. Speak light. So, Blue, briefly, before I get to number 4 and 5, bro, I want to actually go into um, 30 words to activate intention.
Mm.
Okay. And these are
Okay.
words that people can use in their day to day. So they change the dark language, not just white supremacy, but I can't, no, stop, don't. And the fact that people talk about oppression so much, black people don't even know they're great PR for white people. Black people can talk real great about white people. Oh, they got all the money, they got all land, they're the best warriors, they're the smartest, they're this. This is all you do is talk about these people all day. Now, if I was a white dude with low self-esteem, if I wanted to get self-esteem, all I have to do is sit around black people because you're going to tell me that
Mm.
even as a homeless man, I'm better off than you. Man, listen, do you know
God
what kind
damn.
of confidence I would have? And do you know how that sounds? So you a white man on Skid Row doing absolutely
Facts.
nothing. You think he's
But they
better than
like, you wasting all that good whiteness.
you. Yeah. Master. They gonna call him master. Master, see, you trying to do something for master. And when I be like, y'all call the dude at Chick-fil-A master? Wow. Again, I'm not on that cultural download. You feel me? So I'm gonna get into 30 words that I think people should begin to use in their sentences, and it's so simple. And I think these words will change your day around, change your life around, and it's so simple. And so the first word is abundance. Use that more. I'm sure you heard it. You know, if you heard Abraham Hicks, if you heard Les Brown, if you heard uh, Wayne Dyer, Elisa Nichols, you've heard people talk about abundance before. But
Hmm.
do you use it? You know what I'm saying? And use it more. You know, you got abundance and you got abundant. You know,
Hmm.
use the word often. You know what I'm saying? The word number two is action. Instead of saying I'm trying, say I'm taking action.
Right.
Everybody that's trying to do something is doing nothing at all.
At all.
At all.
That's a word as well as with can't. Those are two words that you eliminate from your vocabulary ASAP, family. If you want to make a incremental change in your life, just divorce yourself from ever using the word try and can't. Right? Find a
Hard.
replacement.
It's
Yeah.
hard, but this is
Uh,
what we
uh,
got the word for. You know what I'm saying? It's very hard because
yeah,
we don't
yeah,
even know
yeah.
it's a habit. You know what I mean? Some I say little a lot. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh yeah, I'm working on this little plan, and I gotta catch myself like, yo, talk big, bro. Come hard. Pause. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
the first two words are abundance, action. The third word is authenticity. Authenticity.
Mm.
Real dope word. Because if you tell somebody, you know what, I'm being authentic, you're saying you're the genuine article. I'm working on my authenticity. I am one of one. Yo, get in that mind frame of knowing that you are one of one. That should make you feel crazy. That should
Mm-hmm.
make you feel so fire that you are one of
Like
one.
this.
There has never been a you.
That
I don't
alone
care how
should
much
get you to
money you
boost
got
you.
in your pocket.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't care how much money you got. I don't care what you look like. There's never been a you. So that means you could go get your portion. They lied to you. There's a portion out in the world that is for you. Whether you want the Bentley or you want the new Honda, whatever your style is, there's a
Yeah.
portion
It's a
that is for
portion
you.
for you. Got your
You
name
feel
on
me?
it.
You are authentic. The fourth word is balance. And
Okay.
these are all words that we know, but balance. You know, many people, the thing that's missing in their life is balance. Being a little, even the scales out a little bit. They too much on one side. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you can't have all logic. You got to balance it out with I think Peterson calls it conscientiousness. You know what I'm saying? You got to balance it out. So you got, your logic. You got being conscientious. You know what I'm saying? We all need balance, and these are words we want to use. Which whether it's balance a checkbook, balance more time with your children, balance more time with your mate, or balance time for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So that's important. That's the fourth word. The fifth word is be. Be. Common got a classic album called B. That's one of my favorite joints.
Yes,
You know
indeed.
what I mean? And that word is so little, but it means so much. And I think that's the most simple yet complex thing a person can ever do is just be. So find where to throw that in your lexicon, people.
Yeah.
The sixth word, Blue, you want to add to that?
Shout out to Just B.
Just
That's
be.
one of my rhyming partners. Yeah.
Just be. Okay, just be. That's a hard name. You know what I'm saying? So
Classic. Yeah.
the sixth word is clarity. Clarity. And maybe in your prayers you want to include that word. Maybe the thing that is hindering you from moving forward is clarity. You can't
Mm-hmm.
see good, and not with your eyes. We have another vision that we want to use to
Right.
navigate, right? So maybe it's clarity is what you're missing. Clarity. Throw that in. You know what I'm saying? Say it tomorrow. You know what? I have more clarity about a situation and I'm ready to move forward. That sounds like, you gave it some thought. That sounds very confident. You approach the situation and say, I have more clarity. You approach your mate and say, I have more clarity. They know, goddamn it, you want to talk. Because that could mean anything.
Right.
Right? All right. Number 7, courage. Courage. Now, Blue, I'm not all over these social media streets, but when things hit my lap, do you know I personally never see no one that looks like you and I ever use the word courage.
Courage. Right.
Courage. Because that's what it takes to be a mother with no man around and you still find a way to feed your children and they have manners and they're going places and you still have time to take care of yourself. You know what I'm saying? A dude that's coming home from parole not trying to go back to his old life, pushing forward, you know, to rocking sneakers he wouldn't normally rock just so he could save money, bro. But he
That
don't want
takes
to go back
courage.
to the streets. That takes courage.
Mm,
That takes courage. Because
okay.
what that man's doing, he's suppressing an identity. Especially if he won in that shit.
Yeah.
Whew, that's courage. But it also takes courage to study and go take a test and ace that. It takes courage to push past your mother and your father. It takes courage to go in a direction that the culture don't understand.
Yeah,
That
right.
takes courage.
Like you talking about, it takes courage for you not to acknowledge white supremacy as a tangible factor in your life. That's going to
Fact,
require courage because you're going to be seceding from the pack
right?
and
And they're not
standing
gonna
on your
be nice to
own.
you. They're not gonna. When I say white supremacy don't exist, people don't come at me with love, bro. They come at me with word with disrespect. And what and the only thing that I'm telling them is them people that you think is like that, they ain't like that, and you're classifying it wrong. I'm bigging us up by saying that. I'm not bigging
And they
them up,
coming for you. Right.
and they come for me. So it takes courage to do that. You know what I mean?
Facts.
But courage comes from self love, though. You know what I mean? Okay, Blue. Number 8, creativity. I know you as a writer. I know that's important to you, creativity, and I think we probably wouldn't have writer's block. We probably wouldn't have creative blocks if we use the word creative more.
Mm,
Creativity, right? So I guarantee if a person in poverty uses creativity more, they wouldn't be in poverty that long. I'm not saying they'll be a millionaire, but they won't be in that situation. I know they wouldn't because just be saying the word creativity starts your mind, your gears start to grind,
right.
bro.
Different gears start spinning.
Totally, totally. You know what I'm saying? So creativity. Number 9, dream. So simple, yo. It's so simple. This is not big words. This is right out the English language. These one syllable words. You know what I'm saying? Dream, dream. In your dreams, do you see oppression?
Mm,
You know,
I don't know. Mm,
do you see race in your dreams?
nope.
Because if you did, I would say that someone hijacked the number one real
Nope.
estate you have.
I be getting neck from Becky's and no.
Lord. That's funny. Yeah, yo, your dreams, yo, like someone hijacked you of your dreams. That's your number. Yo, you own that. You know, when you talk dream, and when you look at your situation, how does what you're going through now in dream line up? When's the last time you even talked dream?
Right.
And the thing about it is, you can dream with your eyes awake.
You could dream with your eyes awake, family.
You
I'm
know,
a notorious daydreamer.
totally. Walking through the city, just looking at
Envisioning, yeah.
totally, yo,
Envisioning.
because you're looking at the world through eyes that are not here. It's a different kind of sight.
Hmm.
That's the sight that put Jay-Z where he's at.
Right.
That's
I
the
don't
sight.
need AR to get there. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I don't need augmented reality to see myself in the positions that I see him in, you know. So it's imperative and important that,
Hmm.
my mother used to tell me utilize visualization as much as you can. If there's a particular neighborhood that you want to go and stand in front of the house and hear hear in the back of your mind your feet streaking on that floor. Don't just see the floor, hear your feet streaking on it. You know what I'm saying? Hear you closing cabinets, hear you flushing that toilet, hear you turning on the shower, right? It's more than just seeing it in your mind, root yourself into that reality. And we're going to get into some of those techniques, a little later when I go into some of my dissertation. Yes.
Okay, so Blue, I'm gonna say a word, and I think you could actually give life to the word better than me. But
Hmm.
this is a great word right here. It's equanimity.
Equanimity.
Mm.
What's the definition of equanimity, my brother?
Equanimity is centered, balanced, mindful. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? You know, it's like it's a practice. You know, what would
It's a dope
somebody?
word.
Man, that's fire, right?
Fire.
Yo,
Equanimity.
so it's spelled EQUANIMITY.
Ti. Right. I
E
can
E
see it.
K EQUA. Yo, first of all, that could be a clothing line, that can be a hat, that can be a club. You know what I'm saying? That's a movie, that's a book title,
It's a
that's an
book title.
album title.
Yeah.
That's a powerful word.
That's a
Equanimity,
statement. Yes. That's a statement amongst beyond statements.
right?
Equanimity.
So y'all sit with that. You know what I mean? Use that in a sense,
That's
and
right.
look it up.
Put it in a sentence.
You know what I mean? Put that in the sentence. Use that. Okay. So that was number 10. So number 11, another one we use. Uh, freedom. We say the word liberate more than freedom these days. But freedom was a very, very popular word many Black Americans use. And I think it looks different now, though. I think freedom then and freedom now is not the same. uh, because now you have to free yourself from something that you don't even know you're in, and you don't even know how necessarily to get out. The
Right.
tools are different because the tools are philosophical tools. So it makes the sparring match a little more difficult because the things that are affecting you is based on your psyche. So you have to actually practice a psychic defense. So we definitely want to say we want to talk about freedom more, freedom of the mind, freedom of the spirit, freedom of the narrative. Let's be free of that. Let's be free of this ideal of struggle and inherit struggle building a business. That's positive struggle. Inherit the struggle of being married. That's positive. The struggle of raising children. That's not a negative. That deals with the process. You know what I mean? So let's loose ourselves and be free and practice freedom from all this that is being placed on our lives. And why is that acceptable? Why is that okay? Why is it okay? You know what I'm saying? So moving right along. Blue, you good? You with me?
I'm right here.
All right. So another word I love. So this is kind of like grace and favor,
Hmm.
and it's gratitude.
Oh,
Gratitude.
it's a big word right there.
Man, gratitude. And all these words are intimate though. That's the thing about them. That's what
Look,
makes
man,
it hard.
share a story with you,
Shoot.
right? I was in Los Angeles last month. Was it last month or earlier this month? You know how time fly. It might have been earlier this month, right? I'm in Vegas. I'm in LA, matter of fact, right? Homegirl tell me that KRS-One is speaking, giving a lecture.
Mhm.
I shoot down there, right? He's at USC. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
He's talking about the origins of hip hop, the beginning stages of hip hop,
Mhm.
right? He said, look, we didn't have nothing initially. We was in the slums. You dig what I'm saying?
Mhm.
He said what we did have that we could bestow upon one another, that brought one another up, that he said was the definition of hip hop, was gratitude.
Mm.
Bestowing, like your man to spit 4, 5, 6, 8 bars for you, right?
Mm.
And you be like, yo, that's fire.
Mhm.
That don't cost you nothing. And the value that you are now transferring to him, right, gives him the boost and the motivation to continue. And ultimately, those are the things that led those brothers and sisters to walk up out of them hoods. right? Gratitude.
Mm,
He's like, you
mm,
don't know what it's like going from being homeless and destitute to
mm,
standing on a stage at Latin Quarters and receiving gratitude
mm,
from a room full of goonies,
mm,
bad shorties, record execs, midnight marauders, and the likes. You feel me? And he
mm,
said that's how they built hip hop, off of exchanging gratitude.
mm,
It's amazing, bro.
mm, mm. You know, Blue, I don't know if are you going to show some of those pictures later?
Yes.
Okay. So there are some statistics, and let me tell you something. Like, if you got a life right now, again, and you can wake up and what you're focused on is your next move, I want you to understand what kind of position and privilege that you're in globally. Globally. I'm not just talking in America, right? Globally. Yo, the world looks very different outside of America. And people
Facts.
don't have the luxuries that people in America have. What you think is the worst hood in America is foreign playground. What you think is the worst living conditions for any human to live in America, a foreigner would gladly take that, right? A
Give me
person
that. Right.
from the favelas would love Magnolia Projects. They would love Cabrini Green. They would love Queensbridge, right? They would. So even with, I think part of the problem why a lot of grace and favor doesn't come to the people is because they never experience gratitude ever,
Mm. So
ever,
being thankful and
ever.
grateful for that in which they have, that they spend the majority of their lives complaining about, not knowing what the bottom out really looks like. You know what I'm saying?
Yo,
And they
blue
on a
black.
flying carpet thinking that's the bottom out.
I mean, this is, and I say this with love. But this is true. Black people be nasty, bro. The attitudes be nasty. And if you ain't got an attitude, then what I'm saying doesn't affect you. The
Right.
anger be on 1,000, right? People
Facts.
mean to each other,
For no reason.
mean, canceling people, shading people, gossiping, right? What I'm saying is not foreign.
Right. And this
Okay,
is lightweight because I
this is
grew up
like,
in the 80s and the 90s where you get a buck 50 just for looking at somebody the wrong way.
man. So with that frequency in millions of people, no one ever has time for gratitude. And because you don't have time for gratitude, the spirit or frequency or vibration of grace and favor does not come upon your life because grace and favor is a covering. Now, if you think of grace and favor as creative spirit, why would it want to cover you? You are fucking nasty. Your attitude sucks.
Mm.
Truth be told, you're not good for nobody. And your mama should have swallowed you. So grace and favor, Blue, does not hit people because they never show gratitude, bro.
Right.
Gratitude, gratitude. That job you keep complaining about, yeah, it ain't the end game. It ain't the end goal. It's part of the process. But if you don't like it, do something different. That's the beauty of America, especially if you're young. If you don't like that relationship, get out of it. But if you do, show gratitude.
Show
It's
gratitude.
billions of people in the world. You know how hard it is to find somebody to match your particular temperament? You're really not that easy to deal with like you think.
Mm.
And
Not that easy.
you're hella flawed. People look past that to still fuck with you, show gratitude. You know what I'm saying? All right. So moving right along, this word is harmony.
Ooh,
Harmony. Look at the intimate. Bro, this is mad intimate. This language. Harmony.
harmony.
Yo. Now, this is the interesting thing, right? Let's say white supremacy did exist. It
Mm-hmm.
could only exist if white supremacy is a system and it's an unnatural system because nothing about it is from nature, right? The only way that it could exist is that if there's people on the planet that's from nature, the reason why that shit exists is because they're not in nature no more. So what I'm saying is the people that look like you and I are not in harmony with anything natural.
Facts.
Nothing.
Right.
Not the
We're
cosmos,
out of harmony with
not
our
with the
natural
ocean,
settings, right?
not with anything. That's the only type of way a system can have dominion over your life because you're out of your natural self, right? You're out of your
Mm-hmm.
natural self. You have no harmony. So if I was praying right now, I think I would put that on my prayer list, bro, to be in harmony with my environment.
Mm.
To be to be in harmony. That means the environment is working for you, bro. To be in
Harmoniously, yes, yes.
do you have some ways, bro, people could get in harmony with their environment?
Absolutely. Um, you know, first and foremost, one of the main things that has us disharmonious is the fact that since the 1960s, we have worn rubber sole shoes. So we're disconnected from the plane, right? From the planet, whether this shit is flat or round, we're not standing on it. We spend an accumulative amount of probably 1 year out of our entire lifetime standing on the actual earth
Mm,
plane, receiving electromagnetism from the ground, which is not only programming you with the resonance of the plane of the planet and giving you information, but it's also recharging you. You know what I'm saying? It's also grounding you. So grounding, going outside with no shoes, no socks, and standing in soil, standing on dirt for at least 20 or 30 minutes, right? That could bring you back into harmony with nature. Foresting, right? Going to the forest. I think they call it forest bathing or something like that. Walking through a forest area, if you live in an area like that where there's a lot of trees and stuff like that, you know, they said going to the park for 40 minutes will help you reduce your chances of falling into the detrimental heart disease rate, which is the leading cause of death for melanated people.
mm,
Okay. Going to a park, you know what I'm saying? If you live near an ocean, go and hear some, go and get some of those negative ions. Go hear some of them waves crashing. You dig what I'm saying? All of these things are going to help to reset you. Um,
mm,
Yeah, I think that, for the most part, you know what I'm saying? That's
mhm,
it. The answer to it all is to get back into a natural setting, and the benefit of people that live in cities, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm in Atlanta right now, and the backyard is the jungle. Atlanta's literally, a forest on a mountain that they carved the city out of. So you're always never too far away from a natural setting, from a natural environment. And many cities are intermingled with natural settings. The people just don't go to them. Go
mm,
hiking. Like if you live in LA, go into the hills, go hiking. If you go in Vegas, stop looking at the shit like it's a cute backdrop. Go up into the mountains.
mm,
Find yourself rooted in that experience of tapping into those environments. And the more that you get to take your shoes off and actually stand into that dirt and communicate with those rocks and communicate with the information that has been there right? With your old ass that has no known birth record, you know what I'm saying? Start tapping into the things that been around as long as you.
Hmm. Hmm.
So you can remind yourself of who the fuck you are, and then amnesia, that Alzheimer, could take a back seat.
Hmm.
And the return of the Mac could take place.
Righteous. So that's harmony. So I'm gonna go through these real quick, man, real quick.
Yeah.
So the 14th word is health. We want to talk about health more. We want to use the word in a sentence more because that'll make us go get a checkup. That'll make us get a physical. That'll make us detox. We want to use the word health more. 16th word, I'm sorry, the 15th word is intuition. Intuition. 16th word is joy. Right? I like that word. Joy.
Joy.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
let's play devil's advocate. Somebody's waking up in Cabrini Green. You dig what I'm saying? They went to sleep to gunshots. They waking up to an empty fridge. Water might not be working right. Shit, it might be lead in the paint. You dig what I'm saying? Where are they gonna find joy from?
They'll find joy. It first of all, joy is not instant gratification. So it's not nothing that's gonna make them feel good at the moment. But they'll find joy in whatever road that he or she takes to better that situation. So whether they became a social media strategist, or they worked as a lifeguard, or they worked for public transportation, they
Mm-hmm.
find joy in what's taking you out of that. See, the problem is we're sometimes we want sober drugs, meaning that what, I'm going through something and I need something that's not a narcotic for real to make me feel good. So if a person is looking for joy as it's like a moment, then that's a
Mm-hmm.
mistake. But they will find joy in going through the process though, because it's an action, it's an event.
Mm-hmm.
It's not necessarily a weekend.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah. Joy is an event. It's ongoing. You know what I'm saying? It's like to tell a child, it's a joy to be your mother.
All right, that's forever.
It's forever.
I could dig it. I like
It's
that.
forever. Okay. So number 17, laughter.
Oh man, that's so
Laughter.
important.
Super. Right. We want to say it, right? Number 18, love. How about that? Right? Love.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Um, Number 19, money, prosperity, wealth. So it's tied together, right? Money, prosperity, wealth. Now, we use money sometimes too much. Money, money, money. I'm trying to get the bag. I'm trying to get the bag. So
Money.
let's take off money and let's use prosperity and wealth. Or let's take off wealth because we got to build wealth, right? No, no, no. Let's use prosperity to prosper, to prosper. To prosper is different than living your best life. To prosper means that's a career. Living
That's
your
an
best
achievement. Right.
totally. Living your best life is for the weekend. So basically on Saturday you taking selfies and you hella lit wherever you at. But Tuesday come, you back at the water cooler. You back at the cubicle. Now you miserable. But a few
Right.
days before that, you was living your best life. See, living your best life is instant gratification. It's a quick moment, and it's usually lived by those who haven't never done shit before.
Mm.
But prosperity, Blue, that means you, your nephews, your friends, people
Right.
you come in contact with, people putting dubs on the board. Prosperity is not an isolated thing. It is very
Right.
contagious, man.
All my pieces hitting. Right.
Total, yeah, boy. You know what I'm saying? Prosperity, bro. That's a good word. These are good words. All right, number 20, oneness. Oneness. Number 21, possibility. It's
Hold
another.
on, hold on. You
Okay,
skipping oneness?
one,
What's
one,
what's what's
oneness.
yeah.
Oneness. Okay, so for example, what would you think of a person, male or female, if they was just like, Blue, um, where I'm at right now, bro, I'm just looking, or I'm seeking a oneness with whatever they name. What would you think about that? What if they use that word oneness before?
Yeah, I'm envisioning that they are looking to have a synergistic relationship with whatever that thing is. They want to learn about it and it to learn about them. The oneness. They're blending into their experience.
Hmm, okay, I can go with that. Oneness. You use that kind of setting the tone for people to know what type time you on. Oneness. That was number 20. Number 21 is possibility. I say this word a lot. I believe in the possibility. I believe in the possibility of me. I believe in the possibility of my friends. I believe in the possibility uh, of humans. Man put a plane in the sky and a submarine in the water. I believe in a possibility. Okay, so because I believe in a possibility, I say it and I live by that, right? So a lot of the cultural downloads, I don't flow with that because I believe in a possibility. I'm a big dreamer, and I'm
Right.
a big
You're
dreamer.
you you're an uber optimist.
Super,
Okay. All right.
super,
We're in the
and and
same gang.
and I only see the world through a pessimistic view of when I'm trying to find something wrong with a project, right? So something I'm doing, I want to view it from a pessimistic place. I want to find out everything that's wrong with it so I can fix it
Right.
before I put it out in the marketplace, right? So that's the only time I use pessimism. I use pessimism as a positive, right? So that's
Mm-hmm.
possibility. Number two, power. Power, right?
Power. Mm-hmm.
Uh, I think we watch Power Blue, the show, but I don't think
Right.
we talk Power. I don't think we talk Power. But you can't talk Power if you're using dark language. You can't talk Power if that's what you think. You think these systems set up in place is more powerful than you, then you're always going to be
Yeah. Yeah.
never.
What does power under white supremacy look like? How can you exert that? Is that not an oxymoron? Where does one derive power from if somebody's supreme to you?
Uh,
And what is the pecking order? If they're supreme, where does the supreme being come in?
hmm.
Shit is baffling.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like if I believed in the three major religions of the world, but but most certainly Christianity, if I believed, or Islam was for that matter, if I believed in an all powerful deity, I think it's counterproductive to believe in the power of that deity and to believe in the power of the state, because does the deity also believe that the state has power? Because I'm gonna
Mm,
think what my deity thinks.
right.
I'm gonna mirror my deity, right? So if my deity looks at the state or the system as powerless, then why would I look at it
Right.
as powerful?
Right. We've had this discussion. Interesting one, when we spoke about rule of law,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? And where does one's worship of their deific force, where does that come in and kick in when you are now being governed by the state under rule of law? You know what I'm saying? How do you justify you abiding by said religion that you belong to, whose first commandment is tell you, thou shalt not kill, unless under egregious terms and situations, but then you sign up to the army for country, and God and country supposed to be separate, but you go and kill for the country. What
Mm-hmm.
creed does the country come under, or do you come under that country that supersedes your allegiance to your deific force? Ponder me that.
Hmm. Riddle me this. Okay. So Blue, we got 23. I want to fly through this. We got
Yeah.
23, and that is mindfulness. Mindfulness. And mindfulness is basically being present, right? Being present of the moment, aware of the situation, you are here. You are in the now. Mindfulness is a science. It's hard. It's actually hard to do because most people have a wandering minds, right? So
Mm-hmm.
to be mindful, that means you're in control of your mind, which is super difficult. Okay. Number 24, responsibility.
Mm.
Big word. Number 25, share. And these are all words that you can include in your day-to-day language. Share. Number 26, success. Success. You know, say success every day. You know what I'm saying? Say it when you wake up in the morning. Say it when you go to sleep at night. All right.
Success. Right.
Success. Number 27, smile. Number 28, space. Space. How about that? Space is a high frequency word. Create space. All right. Number 29, spirituality. And number 30, wellness. And that was basically power, powerful
Wellness.
word,
Wellness salute. Shout
wellness.
out to
Yeah,
Supernova.
to activate intention. And that was from Evelyn Lim. So if you want to check that out, that's Evelyn Lim. Um, and that was 30 words to activate power of basically intention. And that's the beginning of grace and favor. You got to move out. You got to move out. Now I had two more of those life hacks. If you
Yeah.
can jump in, or I can finish them off. It's up to you.
Yeah. Knock your life hacks out. Then I'm gonna jump
Okay.
into faith and
Okay.
belief.
Okay. I'll be real quick. Okay. So the
Take your time.
number
Hmm.
fourth is be exclusive. Grace and favor ain't for everyone. That's a big one. Because a lot of times when you come from where we from, like you kind of just give up. You give up yourself way too much for your friends, for the environment. So there's nothing ever left over for yourself. But the thing about grace and favor is you have to practice exclusivity because it ain't for everyone. Grace and favor isn't cheap. Everyone doesn't have access to it. If you share your grace and favor with the rest of the world, you have to be okay with it leaving you potentially.
Mm.
Why? Because grace and favor is a covering. If you let someone stand under it, you might be without it. Okay? So you have to have discernment. You can pour into loved ones, the world, your peers, you can pour into them and they'll be a beneficiary of your grace and favor. But you never, ever, ever lend your grace and favor.
Mm. Is grace and favor choosy?
Grace and favor chooses us.
Right.
It's a frequency
It's a
that we
frequency. Right.
that we tap into. So if you pass it off, that's like you you don't get it back.
Yeah, you might
But
not get it back.
no, right. So what you do is you people are a beneficiary of
That's
your grace.
like letting somebody hold your purple tape.
Oh my God, man, purple tape. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not getting that back. You dead on
Not
that.
getting that back.
You dead on that. You know what I mean? You dead on that. All right. So you want to be real, real exclusive with your grace and favor. And the best way I could describe that is like you feel your vibe at the moment, right? And you know you going into the right direction. You're thinking dope stuff. You're attracting a lot. The last 6, 7 months been great for you. And you get a call from a family member or someone from the past, and they like, yo, I'm in town. Are you trying to kick it? Boom. And you like, yo, you know what? I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even trying to put myself in that kind of environment. I don't want these people around me. And it's not a diss to them. It's just that you're protecting your grace and favor because you understood how hard you worked for it. Because when you
Right.
don't have grace and favor, you go through so much to acquire it.
I
Okay.
know that's
So
right.
be exclusive with your shit. All right. And the last one is attack your purpose. Fortune favors the bold. All right. Attack your purpose. Fortune favors the bold. That's the fifth life hack for grace and favor. Attack your purpose. Fortune
Fortune
favors the bold.
favors the bold.
Right. So grace and favor seem to be attracted to people that are moving. Grace and favor are the tools people use to complete great things. Grace and favor acts as a shield when you're on your mission or your purpose. It's a shield.
Mm.
It's a shield. You know, check this out, Blue. If you ever look at a great person in history, a great person in history, grace and favor didn't leave them until their work was done.
Can you give us an example?
Everybody, anybody you think was done, they capped. So let's take Malcolm X or Mike Martin Luther King, right? Or Malcolm X or or Whitney Houston or Michael Jackson, right? Of course, people love them. People hate to see them go. They capped though. They capped on their potential. Grace and favor covered them so they can push it to the ceiling, and that's that. And then it leaves them, and then it goes to someone else. That's how civilizations go too. The reason why Africa fell is because there was nowhere else to go. Where else you gonna go? You're at the max. You're at the max of, because if you created science, math, agriculture, if you created botany, homie, if you created science, if you created language, you created everything and then did it at that level for arguably hundreds of thousands of years, fam. Where
Mm-hmm.
else are you going to go? You have to dip down.
That's what I'm talking about. Entropy.
You have to dip down. So when we're looking at all the great people in the past, of course, emotionally, we want them to still be here, but they capped. Grace and favor was a shield for them so they can do their work. When their work is done, grace and favor must leave.
Mm.
That's how it goes. So anybody that's existing now, if you think they're great and you think they're dope and they're still here because whatever their greatest work is not completed.
Factory.
Right? So it may look like Jay-Z's greatest work was Reasonable Doubt. That might not actually be true. His greatest work might be a coloring book for children.
Right. Now you a while ago used to share something with me about how one goes about honoring their ancestors. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about? Can you share
Yeah,
that? I think that was an
yeah,
amazing way to look at, a situation.
yeah. And so the way that you honor your ancestors is, of course, you say their name, you build edifices of them, you complete their completed works, and you deify. I'm sorry, you complete their uncompleted works and you deify their completed works. So you build edifices of them. You say their name, you deify their completed works and complete their uncompleted works.
I think that's a whole separate show. Let's
Okay.
we're gonna come back and flesh that out. You know what I'm saying? Proper way to pay respect to your ancestors.
Right, right.
You dig what I'm saying? We're gonna
Yeah,
flesh that out. That's dope. That's a dope one there.
yeah. So crack that code, bro. Go in. I'm listening. I'm all ears.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna go to the screen share, y'all. I put a little presentation together. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna go to the presentation. All right. Give me 1 second, y'all. Desktop. Oh, hold on. Let me that's what I need to put the all right. I gotta put the what you call it on the desktop. The keynote. All right. Put the keynote on the desktop. Now I gotta share the desktop. Desktop, boom. All right, y'all can see that.
Yeah, I
Can you
can
see
see
it
it.
on your end? All right,
Yep, I can see
we
it.
rocking and rolling.
Yes, sir.
Nonetheless, media presents grace and favor, faith and belief. Okay, let's go into the definition of belief first and foremost. All right. A state or habit of mind in which trust or confidence is placed in some person or thing. All right. Now, the most important thing, period, in any relationship that you have with yourself or with other people is trust. Right. So for somebody to minimize the meaning of belief, right, in our life, okay, is someone that doesn't really understand the importance of trust. You dig what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You don't necessarily, because then this is this whole concept between belief and know. You believe that you know people. You leave your children with them because you trust them,
Mm.
right? But do you really know them? You know what I'm saying? Do you really know Uncle Chester?
Hmm.
Unfortunately, you found out that you don't really know him. So trust is a very strong factor. You know what I'm saying? Trust factors into everything.
Mhm.
You know, I could be here on the radio doing what I'm doing. I'm trusting that my shorty's where she at saying what she doing. That takes a lot of trust. I
Mhm.
have to believe her. I don't know,
Mm.
right? It's all mitigated on belief. Something that is accepted, considered to be true, or held as an opinion, something believed. An individual's religious or political beliefs, especially a tenet or body of tenets held by a group. Three, conviction of the truth of some statement or the reality of some being or phenomena, especially when based on examination of evidence, right? Belief in the validity of scientific statements, right? They use that as a definition. Okay, faith. Faith, one, an allegiance to a duty or a person, loyalty. B, fidelity to one's promise. Two, sincerity of intentions. 2A, 1, belief and trust in and loyalty to God, quote unquote. 2A, 2, belief in the traditional doctrines of a religion. 2AB, 1, firm belief in something for which there is no proof,
Mm.
right? Clinging to the faith that her missing son would one day return.
Mm.
2, complete trust,
Mhm.
right? So that's like an oxymoron. How could you be completely trusting of something that you don't necessarily know or have any proof? That takes a lot of faith.
Mm.
3, something that is believed, especially with strong conviction, especially a system of religious beliefs. So these definitions always seem to go back to religion in some degree. But my question is, did faith and belief exist before religions existed?
Mm.
Okay. So let's get into these definitions or designations, right? I'm trying to move something on the screen. Okay, here we go. Boom. Belief will empower or destroy your dreams. While belief can empower your dreams and desires, limiting beliefs will destroy them. Limiting beliefs are the doubts and fears that hold us back. They keep us tied safely to the dock. But if we have faith that our boat can get us to the destination, despite rough seas, adventure awaits. What are your limiting beliefs and how can you successfully combat them? The first step is to recognize those fears and doubts. The next step is to slay those dragons. You must uncover the truth that you can and will succeed and how you will do so. Here's a worksheet that will help guide you along the way. We also need or have the wisdom to obtain the skills, tools, and team to reach the goal. The worksheet above will help you discover those needs, but that's where Hill's 11 other think and grow rich laws or principles come into play. I am finding that these are the fundamental elements of success used by the most successful and influential leadership coaches today. To recap, here they are. One, desire. What do you really, really want? Two, faith. What do you believe? Three, autosuggestion. What are you telling yourself? Four, specialized knowledge. What do you specialize in? Five, imagination. Get creative. Six, organized planning, creating tools to help you achieve. Seven, decision. Tony Roberts' favorite. Eight, persistence,
Stephen Covey's favorite. 9, mastermind, gathering your tribe together. 10, transmutation, using your energies to engage, not to escape. 11, subconscious mind, another Tony Robbins favorite. 12, the brain, feed that gray matter. 13th, the sixth sense, spirituality and mindfulness. Meditation, anyone? All right, so we're going to jump. If you notice, the first principle on that list was desire. Okay. Hill's main point is that your desire must be so deep that you be willing to do whatever it takes to get it, to burn the boat so there's no possibility of retreat. Today, you see this desire, this passion in the world's most influential and powerful personal brands like Elon Musk, Oprah, Gary Vee, and Mark Zuckerberg. And therein lies the rub. The deeper the desire, the more willing you are to do what it takes. Gary Vee admits he's hardwired to work 18 hours a day to achieve his goal of purchasing the New York Jets. Elon Musk has envisioned going to Mars since he was 12 and is laser focused on getting there. And if you listen to Gary Vee or you read about Mr. Musk, you will have no doubt their deep desire will lead them to their destiny. How to light the fire of desire. The deeper your desire, the hotter the fire. But desire alone will not make your goals and dreams come to fruition. It's going to take all 13 principles. But desire is the launch pad that will take you to the moon, Mars, and beyond, right? And in this quote, it says, the starting point of all achievement is desire. Keep this constantly in mind. Weak desire brings weak results, just as small fire makes a small amount of heat. Okay. And that comes from Napoleon Hill's and Think and Grow Rich. Now, my sun sign happens to be synonymous, okay, with, oh, come on now. What the hell is going on? I'm trying to grab this thing right here. Anyway, I'll figure something out. Scorpio sun, the power of desire, right? For people, okay, so if you're not familiar, family, each zodiac sign has affirmations to go along with them, okay? And for Scorpio, right, where sister, I'm gonna present some of her work later on in this presentation, named Aquarius Maximus, who's a cardiologist, astrologist, and also an engineer who created her own cryptocurrency called Guapcoin. She says that this planet is Gemini, right? It's dualistic. We live in a dualistic reality. The planet is Gemini, but the galaxy, the universe that we live in is goddamn Scorpio, right? Dealing with death and transformation, okay? Death and rebirth, sex, transformation, in the mystery, right? That you speak of. So, Scorpio is synonymous with desire. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to read into that real quick. My planetary sun sign. For people born under a Scorpio sun from October 23rd through November 21st, their solar energy flows as currents of deep desire. Personal transformation is their birthright, and many will spend a lifetime searching for it. The most publicly famous will create success in their chosen field or sphere of influence, often overcoming personal crisis. Much like a phoenix rising from the ashes of despair, all Scorpios have the power to transform into a truer version of their authentic self. The less fortunate will flex their scorpion tails in vengeful, sometimes violent arcs, wounding those around them until the final thrust stings themselves. Scorpios dive deep and refresh themselves through the element of water while displaying a fixed, often intense character. They are usually passionate about something and will with laser-like precision gather the resources needed to achieve their goal. Pluto, The god of the underworld is this sign's planetary ruler. Scorpios are adept at penetrating Pluto's hidden realm to return with secret treasures. Um, I can't read what the hell is going on behind that. Okay. All right, so we're gonna have to go into the next slide because I don't know how to move these goddamn this box right here. All right. Let me see. I'm trying to get slick, but it ain't working. So some famous Scorpios, you know, who have exerted their desires, you know what I'm saying? If you see them, you could pretty much correlate these peoples to their drive and the desire that they have to achieve and do things that have yet to be done. You know, Hillary Clinton, she was very passionate, you know what I'm saying, about her drive for the presidency or what have you. You know, her desires to get there kept her in the play for a while. You know what I'm saying? Even with all of the dirt that her family does, you know what I'm saying? It was driven by her desire to be on top. You know what I'm saying? Leonardo DiCaprio, you know, he's a very determined actor. Future, shit. His desire, okay, to his desire to shit, what can we say to his desire? Well, his desire, he was down and he desired to be up. You know what I'm saying? He had just broke up with Sierra. You feel me? The record label was acting like they was about to drop him. He took the heartache and he turned it into a multi-million-dollar empire based on his desire. You know, how he went about doing it, that's subject to questioning. And we're not going to talk about the content of his music or what his politics are. But his burning desires, you know what I'm saying, put him in a position where he pretty much, you know, created the atmosphere for what trap music is right now. And the crass commercialism of designer clothes and all of the rest of the stuff and drip, you know what I'm saying? That was his wave pretty much. You know what I'm saying? I would say he was the father of that when the shit was dying down. Okay. Bill Gates, this nigga's desire to push eugenics on the planet has put the planet in a perilous place where they even want to run up and vaccinate grown motherfucking folk. Like they're gonna drag Granny out and try to hit her with a needle. His desire is unprecedented. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
You know, we were having this conversation the other day, and you know, somebody was asking me, well, why would they want to, you know, kill people off of the planet? You know, don't they want to sell them shit? I'm like, somebody like Bill Gates has already surpassed his materialistic desires. He's already burnt those boats. He's given away $10 billion. You know what I'm saying? They're not driven by materialism at this point. They have a different passion. Just like Elon Musk wants to go to Mars. That's a different type of dream. You know what I'm saying? So somebody who wants to get rid of half of the world's population as a eugenicist, you know what I'm saying? They got a different drive and a different determination. He's pinky in the brain. Caitlyn Jenner, his desire to be a woman, you know what I'm saying, has created a cultural wave. You dig what I'm saying? And again, this is not about co-signing somebody's politics. This is just showing you the lengths to which someone who is impregnated with desire must go. The burning hot passion of desire is what Napoleon Hill says is necessity to spark success, unprecedented success, right? Because he's only talking about the Willies. You dig what I'm saying?
Can I ask you something?
Capital William, yeah.
About desire? Do you think collectively this culture, collectively, so you collective or individual, but do you think there's a lack of desire in terms of, again, Bill Gates got a hell of a dream. Elon Musk got a hell of a dream. You know, Andrew Carnegie had dreams of steel. JP Morgan, it was finance. Rockefeller wanted to control the money in the, not the, Rothschild wanted to control a whole continent's money flow. those are big dreams, right? So do you think collectively
Dreams.
the culture is missing desire in terms of big dreams?
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Absolutely. The culture is hampered by a lack of a collective desire. There's no collective desire, you know what I'm saying? And as somebody who's personally belongs to a level of the community where I get to speak to the people who are recognized as leadership, you know, one of my main questions always is, well, what is your vision for the people collectively? You know what I'm saying? If you were to be afforded the title of leader, you know, where are you taking the people collectively? Shit, what is your individual vision? You know what I'm saying? You have one for yourself.
Mhm.
Where do you see yourself in 20 years? What does winning look like to you? You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Well, what does liberation look like? That's one of my main questions. What does
Mhm.
liberation look like? And I've to this day have yet to get an answer. You know what I'm saying? Um, I mean, Red got the Facts 2020, and that's a good program. That's a good vision, you know, where the
Mhm.
future should be and what it looks like.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? But I got bits and pieces from other people, but nothing that showed me that this is somebody's life mission. You know what I'm saying? That they was born impregnated with this vision and they grew up on some Elon Musk shit to have a crazy vision. You know what I'm saying? Where's your fucking crazy visions at? If your
Hey,
vision ain't crazy, you're not thinking big enough.
hey, Blue. You know when people say, "Oh, I want black people to be liberated," you know that's not a big dream.
It's not a
That
big dream, huh?
that's not even desire. You know why? Because that's not specific, right? Now, if you say you want every black person in the world with $1 million,
Mm-hmm.
that's some big ass dream
A
because
big
that's
dream.
specific.
Right.
Like, what does freedom even look like, right? So, when people, oh, I want black people to be liberated, that's not a big dream, yo. And in fact, that's not even a burning desire of a person because you're not specific. You don't even know where to target, right? Downsizing the population of the planet is specific, my nigga. Going to Mars is specific. He ain't say he wanted to be an astronaut. He say he want to go to Mars. That's specific,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right. So, you know, since we've pinpointed what desire is, since we've pinpointed the maniacal thrust that certain people have towards desire, you feel me? While other people scringe and, oh my God, how could he? You dig what I'm saying? Is your counter desire as powerful, even more powerful?
Right.
So these are the 7 steps to like the fire of desire, right? This shit sounds like a cool R&B song, but this is really the foundational principle that's necessary and needed for the breakout motherfucking dreams, the craziest ones.
Mm.
You dig what I'm saying? Case in point, like I remember when a young man from this community, you know, got to LA when I was there, and you know, I asked the brother what was his plans. And he said, I came here to burn out my desires. He came out west to burn out his desires. You feel me? He said that he had these dreams in his head as a child and he wanted to live them out. So when leadership did find him, he would have already burned out the lamp, the
Mm-hmm.
oil in the lamp of his desires.
Right.
He would already have been spent. Okay.
Mm.
So now he could fall into the lameness of leadership, right? Once he had got all of his Becky desires out of the way. Okay. I said, my nigga, I've been here longer than you. You're never going to run out of your desires out here. They're going to keep getting replaced by another one.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? This place is littered with people who came here with those same ambition, those same, you know, that same level of reasoning, and you get swallowed and sucked in because now your desires get eclipsed by somebody else's dreams that are bigger than yours. You feel me? And you like, oh, I want some of that. And the hill keeps going higher up and higher up and higher up and higher up.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's very dangerous to play with desires. You know what I'm saying? especially those that are not your own or those that are not rooted in the end game, they're so motherfucking fantastical, you know, that you're gonna supernova out this bitch. No pun intended. All right. 7 steps to light the fire of desire. Step 1, get specific about what you desire. Take a moment, pause, breathe, ask yourself, what do I truly, deeply desire? Is it freedom from debt, more time, more energy, fitness, happiness, a certain salary? Be specific about exactly what you desire. This focus will help you paint a picture that inspires your progress. Now, this young man that I'm speaking about, this brother had specific desires that he wanted to exercise before, you know, he merged into the lane of lame leadership. Okay. But like I said, one desire gets replaced with the next. And then you find yourself living out somebody else's desires. Step 2, know your why to fuel the fire. List all of the reasons why you desire that goal. Be specific. Go deep. This why will drive you toward the desired goal. It will fuel the fire of desire. For me, I have a monetary number in my head that gets us out of debt, but that's not my why. My deeper why is the freedom to give, the ability to propel my family forward, to achieve explosive personal growth, and build a powerful personal brand. Step 3, know what you'll give in return. If it's monetary desire, what is the unique service or superpowers you'll use or provide to make the desire come to fruition? If it's a personal desire, like learning to play the piano, how will you make time, pay for, what will you trade or give to get what you want? Right? Stephen Covey's win-win concept rings true here. To get, you've got to give. Step 4, set a date. This is not a deadline per se, as much as a day you envision that you will hold what you desire in your hands. Picture it. Be specific. For me, I envision standing in front of the Christmas tree, sipping a warm, whatever that is, and feeling free. And that feeling is what fuels my desire fire. Step 5, create an action plan. Tony Robbins calls it a massive action plan. You can get as detailed as you like, but the key is writing what you will do right now to take action. No dawdling, no waiting for something to happen. You must envision the desire and be deeply honest with what specific actions you will take to get you there. The key is focus. Focus on the goal and the actions you will take towards achieving it. Step 6, write your statement of desire. Write out a full paragraph of your statement of desire. This is a short mantra, a manifesto that you create for yourself that encompasses all of the above. Put it in a note on your smartphone. Step 7, repeat your mantra 2 times daily. When you wake up and when you go to bed, repeat your manifesto to yourself. Feel it, see it, believe it, trust it. And I have 2 pictures of Napoleon Hill posted on this particular slide, because for a long time, I thought that Napoleon Hill was Dennis Kimbrough. I'm covering the picture right here, but you see this picture in the lower left hand column, Think and Grow Rich, a Black choice. So here's what it did for me. When I originally read that book, it liberated me because I thought Napoleon Hill was melanated. And I was wondering why melanated people wasn't like kicking down the door of success if they had a blueprint laid out like that from a melanated man. So I didn't know that Dennis Kimbrough just threw his name on the motherfucking book. And, you know, Napoleon Hill wasn't. So I didn't have no barriers on my brain, on my mind for success. I was like, oh, this is from us. You know what I'm saying? Like Reginald Lewis must have read this book for him to kick that door down. That was my inspiration. So later on in life, when I found out Napoleon Hill was a European, when YouTube and the rest of them, I don't think it took me all the way to YouTube to come around. But when I saw the video, you know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, okay, I get it, you know? But I had already, you know, I ain't had that malware,
Mhm.
right? So I'm trying to get rid of this little box that's not necessary. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I could get this thing up out of here. Yeah, put this in the corner somewhere. You don't gotta see me. Now I got this. I was listening earlier to some commentary that was provided by a brother that I know. His handle on IG is untitled_production_team. And he was talking about the correlation between success, succeed, right? Breaking from the pack to take a calculated risk. So the definition that I have for succeed is to achieve the desired aim or result, right? We're going back to desire, right? So how can you gauge your success if you don't have desires that you're pursuing in life? What are your desires, family? We just gave you the whole, manuscript on the last page about how to lay out those desires, how to carefully create a trajectory to get to those desires, right? Then you can get to your success. But oftentimes, in order to achieve success, right, you have to secede from the pack. Okay, so the definition of secede is to withdraw formally from membership of a federal union, an alliance, or political or religious organization. That's the definition, so the South want us to secede from the continental United States, right? Because they ain't pumped with the Union, right? So they want us to secede from the Union. Okay, they wanted to separate. You know what I'm saying? Oftentimes, if you're part of the pack, the collective, okay, who has been damaged by malware, who has downloaded inoperable programs, oftentimes you have to quietly remove yourself and secede from that shit, okay? In order to achieve your personal, individualized goals and desires, right? So this gentleman that I'm talking about that came out west, right? He seceded from the collective's personal ideas of what success looked like, and he pursued his own individualistic goals. You understand? Now, a belief is something that we can feel but can't prove scientifically, whereas knowledge is a realization of a fact. Agreed?
Okay.
A belief is something that we can feel but can't prove scientifically, whereas knowledge is the realization of a fact. Okay. Now, in the left hand corner here, this quotation that I have up here is attributed to our good friend, Reverend Ike. Okay. And Reverend Ike says, your feelings get the blessings. Okay. Your feelings get the blessings. So it's not just enough to have a desire, right? But if you want that desire to be a burning desire, you have to implement the feeling into it. Okay. So he says, right, this is his quotes. In this teaching, you'll come to realize that if you wish to have the good that you desire, to get what you want, you must make yourself feel that you are the one who deserves the good that you desire to be, to do, and to have. You must make yourself feel like you are already the one you wish to be, whatever you wish to be. Based on the Bible story of Esau and Jacob, but it is not what you think. In the story of Genesis, Jacob and Esau are twin sons of Isaac and Rebekah. The youngest son, Jacob, plays a trick on the blind father, Isaac, by making himself feel like Esau, the oldest son, to the blind father's touch. And thus, the blind father gives Jacob the blessings of preeminence, of lordship, instead of Esau. As you may know by now, Reverend Ike doesn't interpret the Bible literally. Rather, he interprets the Bible as a book of spiritual psychology, a book that is about you, a book in which every chapter represents some facet of you. Reverend Ike interprets the esoteric meaning, the hidden inner meaning of the Bible story that is deep, profound, and filled with symbolism pertaining to your life. And we're going to get into some of that story after this. Agnosticism, a state of mind defined literally as lack of spiritual knowledge. So people say, what's the big difference between belief and knowledge? Okay. Agnosticism is a term coined by Thomas Huxley in the late 1800s to describe the experience of not knowing as it relates to spiritual and metaphysical principles. So I wanted to get into this just by saying that you can have a belief, right? And you saying that that's not it's not grounded in any foundational truths, right? But someone also can have a knowledge of something, right? That you don't have no bearing, understanding, or point of references for. But just because you don't have those things, does it not make what that person has experienced true?
Hmm.
Case in point. So we'll get into it. Gnosis comes from the Greek word meaning spiritual knowledge of a saint or mystically enlightened human being. An agnostic is simply someone who lacks the type of knowledge or experience. Huxley's proposal does not mean that such knowledge is impossible, only that someone who lacks spiritual knowledge through experience is limited to the realm of belief and therefore cannot make claims that what they believe is also true. The metaphysical understanding of the human mind as one mind appearing as many leads to the awareness that any one conscious perspective or point of view may experience any one of the infinite possibilities when it comes to spiritual knowledge. In simple terms, this means it is entirely possible for one individual to have a deep spiritual knowing or experience while another perceives the same universe using only the five physical senses, the only limited five physical senses. This does not make one right or the other wrong. It is the nature of a polarized dualistic mind creating the experience of all possibilities. While one may experience gnosis and cannot understand why another does not see the truth, and another is agnostic and honestly claims to not know, perhaps it is wise and best to simply acknowledge that both possibilities do in fact exist side by side. Case in point, right? I seen motherfucking ships. Because somebody else ain't see it, does that not make it true? I've been visited by light sentient beings. Because somebody else has not experienced it, does that not make it true? No, I've had my own personal spiritual experience, right? While we all share something, quote unquote, collectively, that has been my own personal experience. And there's people in the collective that can co-sign that experience, but everybody and everything in the collective experience has not yet experienced that thing. So anyway, Reverend Ike says the law is blind, right? And we went over this as well when we was dealing with the rule of law. And some people might be in their feelings because they see Lady Justice with the blindfolds. But this is what it means, right? As a principle, it means that if you follow the law or you follow these principles that are underneath the rule of law, that the way that justice is mitigated is supposed to be blind, meaning it doesn't see color or creed or sex or anything. It's only to be judged by the precepts of said law. Okay. So it's the same thing that Reverend Ike is talking about, these universal principles dealing with feeling and belief. You know what I'm saying? The law is blind. It's not gonna, grace and favor is not gonna miss you because you have heavily melanated skin. Grace and favor is not gonna miss you because you're a woman. But if you abide by these universal laws and precepts, grace and favor will find you wherever you are. Ponder that. Do you believe that? Deion Sanders says, and I quote, if you look good, you feel good. If you feel good, you play good. If you play good, they pay good. God damn it. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Stimulus. Okay. So what is it all about? You feel me? What is this feeling thing all about? Because a lot of things that we see in our society, especially in quote unquote the black community, are people chasing a feeling, right? So they indulge in stimulus in many different levels, whether it's by way of narcotics, whether it's by way of alcoholism, whether it's by way of pretending, faking it till you make it, pretending that you're somebody that you're not, right? Whether it's you getting butt ass on social media to get likes, right? To trigger them dopamines, that's all stimulus. A thing or event that evokes a specific function, reaction in an organ or tissue. A thing that rouses activity or energy in someone or something. A spur or incentive. An interesting and exciting quality. Right? That was a poor definition for stimulus. But when we talk about being in our feelings and we talk about, you know, the importance of feelings, you know what I'm saying? No other group of people, okay, resonate with that principle more than melanated people. Why in particular? Because melanated people, right? Again, according to this is where I introduced the work of the sister Aquarius Maximus. She's a cardologist and astrologist. And according to her astrology, in her cardology, she's been able to pinpoint the astrological the zodiac sign that melanated people fall under. In particular, the melanated people in this country, right? Commonly erroneously referred to as ADOS, okay? ADOS Hitler. Um, and she also found the card that they fall under, which is a nine of diamonds. Okay, so let's look at some of the characteristics of Cancer. All right. Cancer is the sign of feeling. All right. In ancient Egypt, the sign of Cancer was represented by the scarab or the beetle. Here in America, the summer solstice occurs within the sign of Cancer, and the scarab is depicted in Egypt holding its dung or symbolically the sun. Although Cancer is ruled by the emotional moon, it gives birth to the sun or Leo. Cancer is associated with home or one's roots, and Africa is known as the motherland or the original home to all of humanity. Therefore, it would stand to reason that the sign governing Africa is Cancer, and in cardology, the card for the home is the Four of Hearts. Interesting things to note about the scarab. They actually follow a 28 to 20-day lunar cycle on the 29th day, depositing their dung in the sea from whence a young beetle emerges. Interesting thing to note about the Cancer. Cancer is known as the gateway of men, the place in the zodiac where the souls of men are said to enter through into incarnation. Crabs in a barrel. One habit crabs have is when they are put in a barrel and one tries to escape, the others will pull him back down, giving rise to the term crabs in a barrel. It relates to people who envy another's success and go out of their way to do things to hold them back and drag them down. The expression is generally applied to those who are from the same class or race that do not like or see others of their kind achieve more than they had. Definitely something Black people suffer from more so than others. But back to Cancer. Black people are moon ruled, emotional, and sensitive, because of which we can easily be manipulated through our emotions. And in America, certain of us have turned thuggish or violent, but we are also very nurturing, forgiving, family oriented, and community oriented. White people are polar opposites. It stands to reason that if Black people are ruled by Cancer, then their polar opposite, white people, will be ruled by Capricorn. The characteristic of Capricorn or Saturn is oppressive, cold, orderly, structured, inflexible, very concerned with reputation, and patient. European descendants have instituted plans that have spanned centuries and have built an iron tight system that has touched every part of the world through colonialism. Traditionally, their sun god Jesus was born during the Capricorn season, is their governing spiritual authority. Capricorn rules the period where there is less sun in the Western Hemisphere and white people have less melanin and have bodies that are more conducive for less sun, colder environments. Their fertility numbers are less than their Cancerian polar opposites. There is a signal that Cancer is the sign that the Earth has progressed into, not knowing the Earth's birthday, but progressions are slow, and notably, the United States, the most influential country on earth, is also a Cancer. Additionally, it has become the new homeland for almost every culture on earth. America was always destined to have a stronger connection with Africa more than any other continent because it was born under the same sign and ruled by the same planet modality, the moon. It is, in my opinion, that the divine feminine or feminine presiding deities selected America to breed dynamic female leaders who will come into power during the next pole shift. Okay. And the pole shift of power is not only black and white, but also male and female. And as you know, she gives some more information. I think we can run through it real quick. There is a signal that Cancer is the sign that the earth has progressed into. Okay, we already went in that. Case in point, it was a queen that sent and financed Christopher Columbus out on his expedition to the New World. The first colonies were 13, mimicking the 13 lunar months, feminine. America was established under the feminine sign of Cancer. America fostered the birth of feminism and women's rights. The Statue of Liberty is a woman. Columbia, the personification of America as a goddess. Depicted in Christianity as the Virgin Mary, Columbia was created out of Virginia and Maryland. Facts. Back to this pole shift in regards to black people. The card that represents black people out of the land of Africa and still living on it is the Nine of Diamonds. It is quite significant that the first black president, whose father also happened to be African, was Barack Obama, who is a Nine of Diamonds. Okay. So we talk about feelings, we talk about pulse, we talk about stimulus, you know what I'm saying? And all of these things are intricately tied into who we are organically as an electrical being, right? Our body is electric, all right? And here's some of these primary sources so the family can write down some of these books and go and get some of this bibliography themselves. You dig what I'm saying? Biology of belief. This is a must. You know what I'm saying? One of the main people that brought the science, at least that I came into, you know what I mean, dealing with this whole aspect of feeling and stimulus and the fact that, you know, our biggest organ on our body is skin, and through our skin receptors and how we dialogue and interface with our environment, right? It determines the biology of our belief. All right. Now, the man has 3 hour lectures on this. I would recommend that you go to YouTube and watch one of the visual lectures as well as get the book so you can understand exactly what the biology of belief is about and why belief is such an intricate player in biology. All right. And why it can't just simply be dismissed because you gave up on the church. Okay. Now, we was talking about this whole aspect of stimulus, you know what I'm saying? And one of the mainstays in society right now that is triggering stimulus for us on a daily basis, you know what I'm saying? When your shorty's not telling you that you the man, okay, or vice versa, is social media, okay? So I want to just real briefly read to you what's being said about social media in regards to stimulus and feelings. Here's why you can't stop scrolling through your social media feeds. The social media addiction has persisted for quite some years now. As it turns out, such an addiction was premeditated. In fact, platforms were designed in order to keep us collectively distracted from the real world. 38-year-old Sean Parker, founding president of Facebook, who resided in 2005, expressed how the platform was created, and his candid response was surprising. In an event in Philadelphia, he revealed that while the platform was being designed, the main focus was to find a way which consumes the most time and grabs the conscious attention of its users. And the answer to this question is simpler than one would think, as they have used a simple psychological trick: dopamine release. The introduction of likes and comments in the platform allowed for a lot of positive reinforcement to be experienced by the person who posted. As Parker also said, each time a person receives a like or comment, they experience a dopamine hit. You may wonder, what does dopamine have to do with our likes? In fact, it is one of the main brain chemicals responsible for our happiness. Along with 19 other neurotransmitters, dopamine carries with its messages between neurons, passes them along to nerves and other cells, and makes us feel the emotions we do feel. They are very important for their role in heart and lung function, as through dopamine, our brain receives the messages that we need water or to take a deep breath. The neurotransmitter importance begins to be highlighted in the 1950s after researchers come to conclusions in relation to physical movement or the disease of Parkinson's in particular. It was found that a deficiency of dopamine causes the stiffness and slow movements of Parkinson. All right, we can go through all that. All right. So here goes the dopamine hits, right? Here goes the whole reward system, how rewards play out, motive, perception of rewards, effort, expectancy of effort, skills and abilities, clarity of job, performance, intrinsic rewards, satisfaction, extrinsic rewards. Okay. So this is the whole reward system. All right. This is what we're missing in our community, especially in the conscious community. There's no reward system, right? There's no dopamine hits. You know what I'm saying? It's the reverse of that shit, right? Dopamine, oxytocin, endorphins, serotonin, right? All of these are the happy drugs for the brain. All drugs are abuse targets. All drugs of abuse target the brain's pleasure center, okay? Food and cocaine, you know what I'm saying? These social media feeds are the same thing. They're digital pills, they're drugs at this particular time, at this particular point. The risk reward ratio definition, all right? Like the brother was speaking about earlier, when we talk about jumping off the porch and leaping out with our big desires, having dreams that are so big that you're considered crazy, right? Oh, like he's talking about grace and favor, favoring those that are willing to take the risk, those that are bold, okay? What is the risk reward ratio in our communities outside of taking penitentiary chances to get a foreign, right? So this particular language here is an investment term, the risk reward ratio, but we should be able to apply it and, flip it and look at it in terms of how we live our lives. Okay. Many investors use a risk reward ratio to compare the expected returns of an investment with the amount of risk they must undertake to earn these returns. Traders often use this approach to plan which trades to take, and the ratio is calculated by dividing the amount a trader stands to lose if the price of an asset moves in an unexpected direction. The risk by the amount of profit the trader expects to have made when the position is closed. The reward. The risk reward ratio is often used as a measure when trading individual stocks. The optimal risk reward ratio differs widely amongst various trading strategies, right? We can get into all that. In many cases, marketing strategists find the ideal risk reward ratio for their investments to be approximately 1 to 3, or 3 units of expected return for every 1 unit of additional risk. Investors can manage risk reward more directly through the use of stop loss orders and derivatives such as put options. All right. In investment terms, that means that you bet on a house and you bet against the house. You know what I'm saying? That you find a way to profit from a loss. You know what I'm saying? What do we have in the community that balances or equals to that? How can you put a put option on life in a community and balance out a risk reward ratio?
Mm.
Okay. So this is another book that we recommend that the family goes out and gets. You know what I'm saying? And this explains how to take that theory or that concept and apply it to your everyday life. So this book here is called Skin in the Game: Hidden Asymmetrics in Daily Life. Nassim Nicholas Talib. All right, let me move this marker down here so I can read this. Okay, see if I hit the target. All right. Skin in the Game is about the dynamics of the behaviors of people when their actions have downside risks along with the potential reward. Too many executives and politicians have all of the upside reward from compensation and none of the risks of ruin that their actions can cause. This is a big problem in our modern world that Mr. Talib addresses in great detail. This book is overall about four things: the difference between knowledge and reality. Having information is not the same thing as having experience, executing successful long term methods in reality. Symmetry in life through fairness and justice. People being held responsible for their actions and good behaviors being rewarded in magnitude of the value produced. Okay, what if we lived in a society, right, where good behavior was rewarded in the magnitude of the value produced? So somebody like billionaire PA, he can go and put a mural up on a wall that says "Speak your dreams into existence." And every time that somebody goes and takes a video and posts as a caption on Instagram or any social media feed of them speaking their dreams into existence, he could get paid. Symmetry in life. Okay. 3, full disclosure and information sharing and transactions. Okay, that's blockchain, right? 4, using reason and logic in complex systems and in the real world in the long term. Mr. Talek explains and sets forward his case that skin in the game is necessary for fairness, commercial efficiency, risk management, and to understand how the world really works. Academia is not the real world. Pain and results are the best educators in the majority of careers, business, and life. The point of this book is that in the real world, it is hard to disentangle ethics on one hand from knowledge and competence on the other. Theories, college papers, and books fall short from experiential knowledge. Contact with the real world is only done through skin in the game. You have to leave the classroom, boardroom, or legislator. Historically, with few exceptions, societies were run by risk takers, not risk transferers.
Mm.
Skin in game was more of a filter than a deference, than a deference. It keeps human hubris in check, and direct consequences of behaviors removed bad actors from participation eventually and permanently. Skin in the game removes the fragile and keeps the robust, and the survival of the non fragile lengthens with time, creating a stronger world that benefits the majority. Okay. So, yes, we absolutely recommend that you go and get this book. All right. Let's get you in your feelings before we end this off. Okay.
Mm.
Let's talk about somebody who got skin in the game. So Jordan Peele is not the only Peele, who we should be talking about at the top of the week. You know what I'm saying? We should also be talking about Norman Vincent Peale, and we
Mhm.
should be looking into the works of Norman Vincent Peale because we can see in real time the effects of these works. Okay. And if anybody needs inspirational, motivational, transformational talk on this planet, there's people that look something like me and you.
Mm.
You dig what I'm saying? So, like I said, if you can dismiss yourself from the emotionalism, which is almost probably very hard to do since now we found out that you're governed by the sign of emotions. Okay. But if somehow you can figure out a way to dismiss and remove yourself from emotions, and you can extract the lesson that's in front of you, right? By this character, okay, that's on TV or in the White House, right? Or seemingly on both at the same damn time and Twitter, okay? You can extract a story or lesson, right? From this dude that by any and all means refuses to see himself as a loser in any situation. And I quote, I like thinking big. If you're going to be thinking anything, you might as well think big. End of quote, Donald Trump. So yeah, my brother Ken, you don't got a small nothing, right? Everything is B-I-G.
Facts.
How Norman Vincent Peale taught Donald Trump to worship himself. That's all we talking about here, family. It shouldn't take us 4 or 5 hours to convince you to worship yourself. After the second Republican debate, when it appeared Donald Trump's lead was finally starting to slip and Carly Fiorina and Marco Rubio were gaining traction, Trump himself, in typical fashion, appeared to only see positive signs. He told Fox News' Sean Hannity that only the polls that showed him having picked up support mattered because they represented the people who vote. The happy talk was relentless. The happy talk. After speakers of the Emmys Awards on September 20 ridiculed him, Trump told Politico that the evening had been amazing. More recently, Trump berated a news photographer who dared to take pictures of empty seats at one of his rallies, insisting his events were as packed as ever. Is this guy for real? Or more to the point, could anyone really possess that much self-confidence? There has been no shortage of explanations. A huge inferiority complex, infantile narcissism, delusional thinking for Trump's undying self-reassurance. But as I discovered in writing a book about Donald, his father, and his grandfather, if you want to understand what goes on underneath the blonde comb over, you do well to look back to two crucial events in the early 1950s. Event one occurred in October 52 when a book appeared called The Power of Positive Thinking, written by Dr. Norman Vincent Peale and translated into 15 languages. It remained on the New York Times bestseller list for 186 weeks and sold 5 million copies. Donald was only 6 years old at the time and didn't read the book until much later, but it quickly became important in the large Queens household in which he grew up, and it would play a critical role in his future. Okay? His parents, Fred and Mary, felt an immediate affinity for Peale's teachings. On Sundays, they drove into Manhattan to worship at Marble Collegiate Church, where Peale was the head pastor. Donald and both his sisters were married there. Okay. I still remember Peale's sermons Trump told the Iowa Family Leadership Summit in July. You would listen to him all day long, and when you left the church, you were disappointed it was over. He was the greatest guy. A month later, in the same news conference at which Trump tossed out Univision anchor George Ramos, he again referred to Peale as his pastor and said he was one of the greatest speakers he'd ever seen. Known as God's salesman, Peale merged worldliness and godliness to produce an easy to follow theology that preached self confidence as a life philosophy. Critics called him a con man, described his church as a cult, and said his simple minded approach shut off genuine thinking or insight. But Peale's outlook, promoted through his radio shows, newspaper columns, and articles, and through guideposts, his monthly digest of inspirational messages, fit perfectly into the Trump family culture of never hesitating to bend the rules, doing whatever it took to win, and never, ever giving up. Believe in yourself. Peale's book begins. Have faith in your abilities, huh? He then outlines 10 rules to overcome inadequacy attitudes and build up confidence in your powers. Rule 1, formulate and staple indelibly on your mind a mental picture of your success, of yourself as succeeding. Hold this picture tenaciously and always refer to it no matter how badly things seem to be going at the moment. Subsequent rules tell the reader to avoid fear thoughts. Never think of yourself as failing. Summon up a positive thought whenever negative thought concerning your personal powers comes to mind. Depreciate every so-called obstacle and make a true estimate of your ability. Then raise it 10%. God damn it. I needed this in my upbringing. Right? So with this individual's ability to look at alternative realities, okay, and fix himself into that dimensional reality and not come out of it, spawned alt-right, alt-facts, right? In this alternative dimension that we live in now that they have attributed to the Mandela effect. All by him not wavering and saying, look, I'm not going to bend or bow for nobody. Because that's what Barack, right? Barack means to bow. In Hebrew, the word Barack, like Barack Obama, it means to bow. So you would always see him greeting world leaders and bowing. And they was like, nigga, why are you bowing? Right? It's to bow and to bend at the knee. That's what the meaning of Barack is. But his 44 doppelganger, Donald Trump, comes and said, I'm not bowing and bending to nobody. Matter of fact, I'm going to bend reality by my unwavering positions and my thoughts. And now you have these bended realities, right? But science says you have the ability to engage 11-dimensional multiverses simultaneously, right? Did anybody ever tell you that? Science says you are engaged in 11 dimensions simultaneously, right? So what does your fucking alternate reality look like? What does your alt dimension look like? You over there clowning him. You know what I'm saying? This nigga's Teflon. Leave him alone. Okay? He's fucking Teflon. And it's all mental. New research suggests that the human brain is almost beyond comprehension because it doesn't process the world in 2 dimensions or even 3. No, the human brain understands the visual world in up to 11 different dimensions. The astonishing discovery helps explain why even cutting-edge technologies like functional MRIs have such a hard time explaining what is going on inside one's noggins. In a functional MRI, brain activity is monitored and represented as a 3-dimensional image that changes over time. However, if the brain is actually working in 11 dimensions, looking at a 3D functional MRI and saying that it explains brain activity will be like looking at the shadow of head of I don't know what the fuck that is, but you know, you see that brain activity is red and blue, god damn it. The appearance of high dimensional cavities when the brain is processing information means the neurons in the network react to stimuli in an extremely organized manner, said research Rand Levi. It is as if the brain reacts to a stimulus by building, then raising a tower of multi-dimensional blocks, starting with, now listen, niggas. Let me save that for the end. Starting with rods, 1-dimensional, then planks, 2-dimensional, then cubes, 3-dimensional, and then more complex geometries with 4D and 5D, right? Now they're talking tesseracts, etc. The progression of activity through the brain resembles a multi-dimensional sandcastle that materializes out of the sand and then disintegrates. Henry Markram, director of Blue Brain Project, explained just how momentous a discovery the multidimensional structure could be. The mathematics usually applied to study networks cannot detect the high dimensional structures and spaces that we can now see clearly, he said. We found a world that we never imagined. All right. And to the right of you, you see the four worlds of Kabbalah. Okay. So each dimension has four worlds in it. Okay. So if you have 11 dimensions, how many worlds do you exist in? I'm asking you. 11 times 4 is what?
44.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. How the hell I know all of this goddamn shit? And I told you in gematria, brain equals 44. Now, I had already figured all of this shit out before I had this information. Just like I told people in my presentations, right? When we talking about the planks and the rods and the cubes and the tesseracts and all of that, I said, that's who you are. The subatomic fucking, that's who you are. You're tesseracts. Don't just go to these Marvel movies and think that they entertaining you, throwing these fucking words at you just to be entertaining you. They're giving you insight into who you are. So if you exist in 44 worlds simultaneously, family, you know what I'm saying? What is this shit with the limits? What is this shit with you can't? Or the white man this or the white man that? Are you fucking crazy? You live in 11 dimensions simultaneously. Ain't nothing or nobody fucking with you. But you have downloaded malware, right? You've short-circuited your own potential. This is on you. But the beauty of it is that you can get yourself up out of this situation just by changing your mind. Okay? So the brother got some audio that he shared with me. I'm going to share that with you. But while the iron is hot, let me jump into this audio that I got for fuck that. We ain't talking Jet Li the one, okay? We talking Blue Pill the 144, goddamn it. The Jet Li shit was cute, but it ain't really hammer it home. We ain't gonna touch on that yet. Where is this joint at? All right. Let me know if you can hear this audio too.
Fourth step.
Can you hear it?
Now we're going to do the fourth.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
All right, y'all. So we're talking about faith and belief, right? And we already evoked the whole conversation, the religious overtones and undertones involved. So we're gonna get into some goddamn Reverend Night, goddamn it.
Forgetting what you want, the fourth step toward breaking through. We're going to do the fourth step.
Fourth step.
Forgetting what you want, the fourth step toward breaking through, breaking out into the good that you desire to be, to do, and to have. And the number 4 is feelings. I don't have this tape here either because it's, frankly, to tell you the truth, it's one of my Pentecostal type tapes. And some of you meta magicians couldn't stand the excitement. But I'm going to put them on the market too. But the name of that series is Healing Gets the Blessing.
That's right.
Write that down because, again, it's the technique. Let me give you one of my mind science beliefs. It's not to say theory, but it's past that. I believe that on the level of the subconscious, when an idea reaches the subconscious and is impressed upon the subconscious, that it is impressed upon the subconscious as feeling.
Listen.
We meditate, we pray, we study, we concentrate, we praise, we sing, we carry on and jump up and down like we do here. But why do we do all of that? To impress a certain feeling. Notice the way I told you to say the last affirmation. I just love to see you looking so good and prosperous. You look like infinite money. You get the feeling in that? It's called spirit, a soul. There is a story that my series of tapes, which are not here, is based on in the Bible. The story of Esau and Jacob. The theologians tell us that Esau, or Jacob, the younger brother, stole the blessing of Jacob, his older brother. It was the custom in that particular culture for the oldest son to receive the father's blessing before or upon his death. He got everything, and it was up to him to be the patriarch of the family from that time on, and to take care of the mother and the brothers and sisters and so on. And Isaac, the father of Jacob and Esau, was blind. Now, that is an esoteric symbol telling us that the Lord is blind. The law is blind. You ever see the blindfolded picture of Lady Justice? You see, that is telling you the same thing. What does it mean? It means that the law does not care who you are. The law of the Lord is no respecter of person. If you work with the principle will work for you. Well, anyway, the younger son Jacob, who was not traditionally entitled to the blessing, came to the blind father while his older brother was out hunting. And the older brother was hairy, but the younger brother was smooth. And the father told them apart by feeling the roughness of the hair and the smoothness of the younger man's son's skin. And the mother, when the older boy went hunting, favored the younger son and said to him, I have your brother's clothes in my house. Now, the mother here is your subjective intuition. It tells you that within you, you have spiritual subjective intuition that knows how to clothe you in the correct feeling nature so that you can get what you want from the Father, of the source. Because you've got to feel right to the Father. You've got to feel right to the source. You see, the Father is going to be feeling you as you approach him to see if you're the one that's entitled to the blessing. But, mother, your indwelling spiritual intuition says, I have your brother's clothes in my house, and I'm going to put your brother's clothes on, and I'm going to put sheepskin around your neck and around your arms, so that when the Father feels you, you will feel to the Father like the one who is entitled to the blessing. You have got to feel to the Father, the infinite source within you, like the one who is entitled to the blessing.
Show you right.
So, the mother, a subjective intuition, dressed up the younger son, and he entered into the blind father. And the blind father asked him a question that life is always asking us. He said to him, are you my very son Esau? But you see, this was Jacob. And Jacob said, I am. The theologians always call this a trick. They always call this a dirty trick. They don't get the esoteric interpretation at all. You know what that tells us? You are whoever you say you are. With no respect whatsoever to facts. That is some heavy stuff. Are you my very son Esau? The question question thought further infers, are you the one who is entitled to this blessing that you desire? Life is always asking you that. The Father, the source, the infinite resource, the infinite supply of all good is asking each one of you, ladies and gentlemen, are you the one who is entitled to the good that you desire? Makes no difference what boy it is. You see, on a factual level, it was the wrong boy. But the Father does not see whether it's the younger boy or the older boy, or a black boy or a white boy, or a brown boy or a red boy or a yellow boy. The Father does two things. The Father feels, and the Father hears the word, I am. What you add to I am, you become. Terry, on the other side, give me an I am over there and put a blank line. You can fill it in. You see, I am the beginning and the end. Say, what I add to I am, I become. Let me quickly finish treating briefly the story of Esau and Jacob. Now, when Jacob, the younger son, answered, I am, he was saying, I am the one who is entitled to the blessing. Then the father said to him, come close, my son, that I may feel you. Uh-oh. This tells us that in prayer, in meditation, in our treatment, as we say here, we treat what? For what reason? To make ourselves feel like the one who is entitled to the blessing. If you treat for good health, the healing, you treat yourself so that you bring yourself to that subjective point where you feel like the one who is entitled to good health. Life asks you, are you rich? And you are to answer, I am rich. Maybe you're sleeping on the streets and don't even have a place to go to. But life is asking you, are you my very son? Are you entitled to a mansion in Beverly Hills? And that's when you better learn how to speak the word. I am. But then the father says, after you answer, come close, my son. Let me feel you. That's when you are glad that your mother, your subjective intuition has given you instructions and clothed you in the feeling nature of that one that you desire to be. Are you the one who is entitled to a lot of money? I am. Well, all right. My subjective intuition, my mother, has clothed me in the feeling of one who has a lot of money. You got to get the money feeling. Let me hear you say that. Remember that song by the Righteous Brothers years ago? You lost that love and feeling and it's gone, gone, gone. You got to get back that love and feeling. Bring back that love and feeling. Oh, that love and feeling. Bring back that love and feeling, 'cause it's gone.
Show you that.
Tell Dr. Frank they made me do it. But you got to bring back that love. You've got to feel that you're that one. Your mother says, I have your brother's clothes. In other words, whatever subjective moods and feelings you need to feel like the one who is entitled and who has the good that he desires. I have that feeling nature that I'll dress you in. And when the father says, come close, my son, that I may feel you, you ought to feel like the one who is entitled to the blessing. And the father feels you. And then the father also says something else. He He says, come now and kiss me, my son. This also shows us that we need to approach the law of the Lord with affection and love. It's not telling us that one person stole another person's blessing. It's trying to show us, though, however, that even the wrong person can get the right blessing if they'll make themselves feel right. And even a person who ain't got no money can get some money if he'll make himself feel like he's got some money.
Talk that shit.
So go around looking like, acting like, thinking like, and feeling like you are who you want to be.
That's right.
And you are saying, yes, I am that I am.
Talk about it. Feelings get the blessings.
Hard body.
How about it?
Fall in line with
Let me
everything.
go into your clip
about.
now, or you want me to
Yeah, you could give it a sec. You know what I'm saying? Let the people bounce back. You know what I mean? I know how to know how the attention span is. You know, so yeah. So you could check the pulse.
All right, let me check in with the people, see where they at. Good people, you know what I'm saying?
Do they understand grace and favor? Do they understand? Do they really know what we're saying here? And are they walking away with, maybe something they didn't have when they came before the
Ooh.
convo?
Yeah, because I played somebody from the church, so we got to see how many people done dropped out.
You know, I mean, this requires people to do work. You know what I mean? This is talking about your life. You know what I'm saying? Personal responsibility, controlling what you can't control. You know,
Mhm.
and I'm not talking about something that I don't personally activate in my life. I'm mindful of that, and I'll be honest with you, bro. I have no idea the day it happened. I don't know what I even did to have grace and favor. I can't even tell you. I just know what I do to keep it. You know what I mean? But I don't know the day it found me because I'd be marveled at my life. Like, how am I living like this? What the fuck? And
Right. I mean, and at some point, like he said in the dissertation, you were more so like the child that was not necessarily favored for the inheritance.
fuck,
You know what I'm
totally,
saying? Yeah, and you
totally.
did something in your life to cloak you in
Hmm.
the cloth or the clothing for the
Hmm.
favor one, and because you felt right the the flip side of because I'm sure that during them hard times, what I'm saying, seeing what you seen, experiencing what you felt, or what you seen, the feeling that went along with that, losing homies in the street,
Hmm.
what I'm saying, hitting rock bottom, ending
Hmm.
up in the can, all types of shit, what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Those feelings, those are like demarcation points in our lives where we got to make decisions because the shit feels awful, you know,
Hmm.
and people don't even want to go forward with life after that. You know what I'm saying? So,
You know what, Blue? Let me say this. I said something earlier that I just now thinking, and this is sometimes we got to minister to our own self because you might have to take back something that you said, and just as the conversation is progressing and I'm in thought, the ministry is flowing, and I said that basically I think we always have grace and favor. Now that I'm as the conversation is progressing, the reason why I
mhm,
say that is because when we look back at our lives, things never got the worst they could get, but they
mm,
do for other people. And when I look at my life, I just said, I don't know where grace and favor came from. Yo, I always had grace and favor. I never hit the floor. Whatever I thought was the floor, That wasn't the floor.
Wasn't the floor, bro.
That wasn't the floor, yo. You know what I'm saying? And I've made some dumb mistakes. And I've done some foolish things. And even when those dumb mistakes was occurring and I was committed to doing those foolish things, it never hit the floor. And because it never hit the floor, that's why I have to say, you know what? Wow. I always had grace and favor. And I know if some of these people on this line, if they really look at their life, like, yo, hold on. I always was chosen. Always. People have to be honest with themselves. And now when you can know that, now I say you're alive because now you understand accountability and responsibility. Once you can admit that you always had grace and favor in your life and you've always been chosen and you've been performing under your potential and you've been denying your talent and survivor's guilt and just on the wrong path because you're afraid to admit that you've been chosen because now there's expectation over your life. You are expected to do great things because you have been chosen. Clearly, look around. Everyone else is gone. You're still here. Everyone else hit the floor. But somehow, your worst days had cushion.
Mm-hmm.
That's grace and favor. That's how it works.
It's grace and favor. You know, the silver lining of grace and favor, you know, when you just don't see it as such, like you said, because of the lack of gratitude, you know,
Mm,
anybody who has ever had a near death experience, one breath of life, you feel me? Just that one shit that they had at Harlem Nights.
mm,
Just just that one piece of it, you know, you'll be forever grateful to be like, yo, that's life. You know what I'm saying? One sliver of breath,
mm,
gratitude. I'm grateful. Thank you. You know what I'm
mhm,
saying? I'm still here. I'm able to build from that point. All I need is a point. You know what I'm saying? And not a period.
mm,
So be forever thankful, show gratitude, you know what I mean? Um, you know, even if the family is in a awkward place with your birth parents, you know, find a way somehow, some way, just to float a note of gratitude to them, even
mhm,
if you don't communicate. Let them know that you appreciate them. Let them know that you're grateful for that passage. You know what I'm saying? For that throughway, that passageway into this realm where you were able to experience life and you know, set you up for grace and favor, however it finds you, wherever it finds you, whenever it finds you, however it finds you.
mhm,
You know what I'm saying? Because it will find you. And we have outlined a good amount of things this evening, you know, for you to change if if you if you on that road, you know, that seems destitute, that you haven't found it or you've lost it, you know, to become reacquainted with it, you know what I'm saying? Or to have that meetup that you've been looking for all of your life. You know what I'm saying? These things are all within the realm of your grasp, within your reach, you know. And you know, overall, as we we wrestle with the reality of where we are at geographically, you know what I'm saying? Not only in our lives, but the location and the bitterness that people feel, you know what I'm saying, living in this country and going through the things that they go through, how for whatever reason that they're going through them, you know, because different people got different reasons or what have you. But, you know, show some gratitude to the show some gratitude to the land, show some gratitude to the America, not the concept of Americanism. You know what I'm saying? Not Western society per se, but this land. This land has never done anything to you. The land yields food, you know, accordingly. The land provides cover and shade. You know what I'm saying? Climate might be getting a little bit jacked up now, but the shit been operating for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Doing what it had to do. The land yields. You put a seed in the shit, it's gonna bring forth. You know what I'm saying? This is a beautiful country. You know, geographically, the land is beautiful. You know what I'm saying? And there's a spirit in the land that's beautiful as well. It's very faint. You know what I'm saying? It has to it's somewhat retreated because of the assault on it, but it still exists. It's still here, and you
Hmm.
could bring it forth. You could become harmonious and get in contact with it. Not everybody, has been able to get a good glimpse of it. You know what I'm saying? But when you get into that place and you really commune with it, there's a beautiful energy. There's a beautiful spirit that's in this land, and I think that the more that you become comfortable with it and you commune with it, the more that you would appreciate the place that you're at and the moves that you can make and how you can move within and throughout this land and the things that you can even possibly do, to bring about equanimity.
Mm.
Equanimity, you know, not in your own personal situation, but in your relationship with this land and this land with your life, right? Because you very well might be the one right in this audience hearing this conversation. You might be the one. You might be the one, as my brother 19 Key say, with that key that unlocks that rusty lock. It might be you. You might have the answers that, you know, this universe has formatted and fitted you with that everyone is waiting for. It might be you.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? But I want to see you do it on an individual, personal level more so than anything else. You know what I'm saying? I want to see greatness flow from you, flow forth from you. You dig what I'm saying? It's within you. It's within you. You're worthy.
Mhm.
You're favored. You know what I'm saying? Why not you? Right? Always us, never them.
Mm.
So,
And that goes into the mystery over the history. And a lot of us, a lot of people, you done gave money, attention, years, your best years of your life to the history. And if you get a return on investment from that and you like what you get, then have at it. Who am I to tell you what's the best thing for you to do? But for others, if you didn't get a return on investment and you feel like you got more life on the table, then you might want to try the mystery. And that represents you. That's unlocked genius, unlocked potential. It's parts of you didn't even know existed. And if you're interested of increasing your grace and favor, if you already have it, or if you don't have it, you want it, then you have to make a personal tithe into yourself. You have to make a personal investment into yourself. We always talk about wealth building and the stock market, but people always leave out to invest in yourself. And grace and favor is like a dividend, you know, but you want to
mhm.
put the tithe into yourself. You know what I'm saying? I'm all about individual awareness because for real, you ain't no good to no collective if you don't do that work on yourself
No
and
good.
you don't tithe into your own personal church, you know? So grace and favor, it's yours. You always had it, you know? This is not even nothing to debate about. This is quality of life, you know?
Facts.
This is not a debate. It ain't even about that. It's about you stepping 10 toes down and when that sun come out and you looking different, you feeling different. There's something about you. You're radiating. You know what I mean? People want to be around you. People think you have the answers. People are checking for you. That's a great feeling when people are checking for you. Not because they
It
want
is.
something from you, but just you know what? You feel safe. You feel like an umbrella. Your energy is not repelling. You know, it's inviting. You know, and if you never felt the feeling of having people really check for you, man, you missing out on the whole world. They lied to you, y'all. They lied to you. They told you you had no friends. They told you the world wasn't your oyster. You know what I'm saying? They told you the world wasn't yours and you're under attack and just all you gotta do is go outside. Go outside. But before you go outside, to make sure you get what you're supposed to get, tap into your grace and favor. Play the video back. Tap into your grace and favor and
Yeah,
good luck.
indeed. You know. So at some point I want to cap it. I don't want it to be a
So, Blue, matter of fact, you could play that audio on the out going out.
okay. Yeah, like I said, family, I feel that we established the importance of having a different understanding of faith and belief and grace and favor and taking it outside of the mundaneness of just religion, you know what I'm saying? Or your concept of religion. Because I don't beat up on religion either. You know what I'm saying? Your concept of religion. But a bit of taste that traumatic experience might have left you, you know what I'm saying? So you can't see anything else. You got blood in your eyes, so you can't see anything else. But it's necessary, there's a necessity. So I want to leave us with this outro by Bruce Lipton, the author of The Biology of Belief. All right. And with that said, I want to say peace, love, and light, family. I want to thank you for everybody that has joined us on this evening for the fourth episode of Tough Talk Tuesday. This has been a monumental endeavor. I want to thank you, my brother Ken.
Yeah, you already know.
You know what I mean? And yeah, family, I look forward to getting on my timeline and seeing the new you tomorrow, in your grand rising phase, tapping into your Scorpio Phoenix aspect, getting into your desire bag, being unapologetic about that shit. You feel me? Your burning white hot desire. You dig what I'm saying? No parties in LA though. No parties in LA. All right, with that, even with your cash app, you know what I'm saying? Because
You know what? Y'all could go to cambrisbon.com, cop an ebook, you know what I'm saying? Pay for something, copy ebook. And if you want to follow up with me on a one-on-one, you can hit my hotline, 888-565-8734. That's 888-565-8734. That is the Nothing But Game hotline. And you can have me on the hip on a personal level, but that line does cost. My time
yeah,
costs. My
yeah.
grace and favor is not cheap. All right.
Make
So
sure you drop that in the chat.
yeah, and we see you guys next time, and grace and favor, baby.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
soulgoldbiz.com. Go get yourself some monatomic goal to help with that clarity. You know what I'm saying? You could cross a few things off on that list that he broke down, utilizing that goal, get that goal, that favor in your life. You know what I'm saying? Thezorb.com. All right. So you could get your diode. You could use Blue Pill at the checkout to get a sizable discount. We're gonna be going very much in depth on this 5G. All right, very soon. So you want to get your diode and everything situated. All right. Dollar sign Blue Pillar 44 on the Cash App. And with that, I want to say peace, love, and light. And I'm gonna leave you with this outro from Bruce Lipton.
95% of our life is coming from the programs of life, how to live life that we get in the first 7 years of life. That's why poor people stay poor and rich people stay rich. The movie The Matrix is not science fiction. It's a documentary. Every human, this is a fact, every human first 7 years is download or hypnosis. The brain of a child under 7 is in a lower vibrational frequency. When you put wires on a person's head, you read electroencephalograph, reading brain activity. A child below 7 has a lower vibration than consciousness. It's called theta. Theta is imagination. Oh, that's how kids play a tea party with mud pies, but to them it's a real thing. A kid rides a broom, it's a horse. That's theta, imagination. Theta is also hypnosis. And the idea is this: before you can become conscious, if you don't have any programs, what are you going to be conscious of? So nature makes the first 7 years. What kind of programs are required to live on this planet? I say, how do you get them? Theta is hypnosis. You just watch. You watch your parents, you watch your siblings, and your community, because you have to learn how many 100,000 rules. Think about it. Just to be a functional member of a family and a functional member of a community, there are rules. Like, teach an infant these rules. It's like, you don't have to. First 7 years, they observe it and just download it. Look, this is not new. I mean, there's the famous book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And basically said you come from a poor family and you could struggle your whole life and try to get rich, but you're not going to make it. And if you come from a rich family, you could be stupid your whole life and make it. Not because it was thinking, but it was unconscious behavior that was downloaded from rich families into kids, which is unconscious. So they're making the right moves unconsciously. If they engage their conscious mind, then they look stupid, but it's unconscious. And that's the same thing with poor people. Poor people have beliefs from the family. Oh, you can't make it, life's a struggle, things are hard, who do you think you are? And if that's the program you get, then 95% of the day you will sabotage yourself. And that's why poor people stay poor and rich people stay rich, because the programming. 95% of our life, this is a fact, comes from those programs in the subconscious. Every day, only about 5% of the life are you using conscious, which is creative. 5%.
So your life is being lived, even though you think you're living your life.
Exactly, and you don't see it because it's called subconscious, below conscious. And the Jesuits, for 400 years, they were boasting. People didn't understand. They say, give me a child until it's 7 and I will show you the man. They've been saying that for 400 years because they knew 7 years was the program period. And 95% of your life after that will be whatever that program is. So you don't have to try and think about what happened. I just said, look at your life. The things you like that come into your life come in because you have a program that supports them. But anything you struggle with, work hard at, put a lot of effort into making it happen, why are you working so hard? Inevitably, you have a program that doesn't support that conclusion and you're trying to override the program. So you don't need to do a lot of strength and psychology stuff. You just look at your life and say, where am I struggling? Because wherever you're struggling, inevitably is a program in your subconscious that does not support that destination you've been looking for. The conscious mind is creative and can learn in any number of ways. Read a self-help book, go to a lecture, listen to this program, and conscious mind's going to get some awareness. And I go, yeah, but subconscious mind doesn't learn that way. I go, right, it doesn't. The subconscious mind learns in 2 fundamental ways naturally. Hypnosis, which is the first 7 years. And after age 7, how do you put new programs in? Repetition, practice. You want to drive a car, you didn't learn how by just getting in the seat with the key, and you had to practice driving the car. You want to learn the alphabet. How many times did you go from A to Z? Try to go to A to Z before you could complete it. And once you completed it, you didn't have to go back and do it again. So 2 phases. You want to train the subconscious mind, hypnosis, repetition. I like the last one because there's a new phrase that's bandied about called fake it till you make it. Meaning, if you're not a happy person, I say you want to be a happy person, then repeat all the time. I'm happy. I'm happy. You say, well, you don't look happy, right? They say, no, who am I talking to? By repetition, I'm talking to subconscious. If subconscious gets, I am happy, and 95% of your life comes from that subconscious, there will be a point once the subconscious got, I am happy, you don't have to say it again.
Okay.
It'll be automatic.
And that's why we see people do affirmations and gratitude journals and stuff, because if you do that daily,
It's repetitive. But that's the secret part. Look, putting a sticky note on the refrigerator is more like a suggestion, but it's not a repetition. So it doesn't work very well. But you have to do repetition is a habit. It's making habit. So you got to do something religiously in the sense of repeating it to make it work.
All right, y'all. Peace, love, and light. Until the
Peace.
next episode. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, y'all. Peace.